That is what I'm talking about. What's going on, everyone? Welcome all Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog peoples of the world. Please do unite. And welcome to episode 386 of Pen and Pixels. And yes, it is true. Do not adjust your television sets. This is indeed D&D with GOG. Ghosts of Saltmarsh has returned. It is returned. It is not a drill. This is not a drill. It's actually the case. You can't. Let me tell you what. This is totally fine. It's all good. We're all here and ready to go, and I am very excited. I am just back from Gen Con, just back from the Writer Symposium, which I am co-programming coordinator of, and it is a great pleasure to have all you folks here, and I'm really excited to see the excitement in the chat. I am equally excited. If you are here for this, just let me remind you a couple of ways to support us. If you haven't done so already, please follow us here on GogCom's Twitch channel. Please do consider subscribing to us here on GogCom's Twitch channel, because that stuff goes to all of the streamers here on GOG, and also goes, of course, to support the channel. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider the prospect of clicking through and checking out our own individual channels, because we have our own individual subsystems and Patreons and all that kind of good stuff, which is always appreciated. So that is the deal with that. I am very excited for today. I'll be talking more about a lot of things. But I probably will be talking as well a little bit about, just at least the beginning, about Gen Con stuff, which we will do here in just a second. But before I do that, I'm going to unmute myself and apologize to anyone I interrupted because I can't hear them. And then I'm going to unmute them. Now I can hear them. And I'm going to head over to reveal. The crew is here, and we are, and it is not just the usual group of the crew, but once again it is our Summer of Love, by which we mean Summer of Fleos, because Fleos is back with us again. Fleos is returned and will be again doing the character that he's going to introduce to you in just a moment. It is a pleasure to have everyone here. I do want to, just before I do this though, geek out about something, if I may, because my novel Renegade, as people may know, has just released a few weeks ago, and I sold a number of those at Gen Con. A lot of people were very interested in it, so that was really cool. But we also had a chance to see this for the first time, and this is a pamphlet with information about the new Greyshade tabletop role-playing game. And if you look inside here, you can feast your eyes on City of Secrets and Intrigue, which is, of course, Corel. You can look at using Faith, which is one of the systems of Greyshade, sound shifting, and one of my favorite sound shifting skills called Inner Fright. Controlling the projection of their voice, this talent allows spies to convince a listener that they are in the presence of their greatest fear and cause them to seek to flee from it. It is a powerful tool to intimidate a single opponent, to clear a secured room, or gain the upper hand when outnumbered in combat. So that is just a little teaser. There were many things here, but we were giving a lot of these out at Gen Con and selling a bunch of stuff. So I was letting folks know that if you're interested, you're like, wait, how do I get in on this? Please head over to my channel and type in !Grayshade, and then you can go and maybe pre-order this. I know some people in this very call contributed to the Kickstarter that made it possible for us to start doing things like this. So this is going into play testing soon. And yeah, I just wanted to share it with all of you because I got this at Gen Con and it was cool. So with that said, it is my great pleasure to have the crew back with us, D&D with GOG. And I'm going to start with the person that I mentioned who is returned to us, albeit for the last time for a little while, sadly. And that, of course, is Fleos. Fleos, it's good to see you. How are you? How's life in the universe with you and everything? And who are you? Whose role are you reprising in today's session?
Well, hello. I'm doing okay, thanks. I'm really glad to be here, though. And I've been enjoying my summer. I'm Fleos. Hi, everybody. I stream here on this channel. Been doing it for a while. Also, so I guess in terms of the game, I'm out of practice, apparently. I am playing Oceanus, who is a sea elf that has the warrior sidekick class. So a warrior or sidekick is not meant to be like a full-time player, which makes sense because I'm not able to be a full-time player in the GOG with D&D with GOG. So I mostly just show up when convenient and try and help out in things like that. Also, I do not speak Common, which makes things kind of difficult with Morthwheel. I can speak the other languages, but that's it. So
yeah, it has to be. You have to like get a bunch of things, like it's all lost in translation type of stuff, and all that. But it is a great pleasure to have Fleos back with us. And yeah, we were talking a little bit in the green room about what happens with the oncoming end of summer. My summer is not ended yet. I have a little bit, longer to go, but I do see it on the horizon, and yeah, I know that feel. But in the meantime, we can hold it at bay by defeating a bunch of Crabigators, which we've already done, and by dealing with haunted mines. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's always a pleasure to have Fleos with us. Also a pleasure to have the amazing Darksaber 2K, who is not waves crashing against rocks. Why has everything gotten screwed up? Someone has changed their windows, and that means that I have to fix all right, hang on just a sec. All right, wait just a moment. There's the thing with the stuff. I have to go here, and there we go. It's almost right, but not quite. I just reversed this evenly. There we go. Now we're right. Okay, geez. The person who's up next,
bamboozling the DM.
Yeah, it's fine. The person who's up next, actually on the column here, who now that everyone's in their rightful spot, is of course the amazing Pyron Jade. Pyron, it's good to see you. How are you doing? How's life in the universe in your neck of the woods? And who are you playing today?
Hi, I might have accidentally switched my camera off and on.
So,
I just wanted to come clear.
Yes, no,
I'm sorry.
You have chosen. No, it's fine. It's all good.
So, yeah, the universe is treating me pretty all right. Still vacation time here. The kids are still at home. My older son just discovered city builders as a gaming genre today, which was pretty cute to see. I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 like the rest of the world. And but tonight I'm back as waves crashing against rock, a Kenku paladin, and have my trusty soundboard with me again. And I'm very looking forward to this. I do remember that we were in a mine, and I remember that something took hold of me last time, but I couldn't quite remember what it was, which resulted in me putting out a tweet about tentacles and using the wrong screen card. I have by now corrected this with the right screen card, and it was giant crabs. So sorry if anybody was really confused by what I was written. That was because I was really confused about things, which very often happens because I'm not really a brain person when it's night.
Because chat, can you imagine forgetting this? Which I think I just did properly now, almost. Yeah, there we go. Can you wait? No, where is that? No, oh, wait a second. There we go. Now it should be on there. See, can you imagine forgetting this, chat? Can you imagine forgetting that creature right there? Tentacles. I just, listen. I
remember being grabbed. That was all.
I'm going to blame Dark Saber for this in some capacity because I think that's probably what was somehow responsible for this in some way. Okay. Also, this is being very irritating. Okay, there we go. Now let's bring that back to where it belongs. We'll put that away. Not that you're ever going to see anything like that again. Okay. No, it's all good. And it's always a pleasure to have Pyre and Jade with us. And it is also, of course, a pleasure to have, now I can officially introduce him properly, Darksaber 2K, who's in his rightful spot in terms of being the right character and all that good stuff, who we are lucky to have with us just before he goes off to a pleasant little folk festival, just a little calm, peaceful, I think it's called like Flowers and Bunnies stock or something like that. So I think it should be a good time, and I'm glad that you're getting the rest that you so well deserve, Saber. I'm looking forward to it. I assume the opening act is sunbeams and peace is probably it, right? How are you doing? What are you actually going to, and who are you playing today?
Well, I'm going to actually Flowerstock because it is a real festival around here somewhere.
See?
I know I've seen it advertised. No, it's Bloodstock, my annual heavy metal festival. So yeah, I'll be going there on Thursday. But in the meantime, I'll probably be playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. Like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'll say on the subject because I do not want to spoil people even the smallest thing if I can avoid it. So I'll move straight on and say tonight I'm going to be Morthoil Gregoniant, Dwarven Artificer, and currently feeling quite at home in these mines, despite the sort of crusty, crabby, alligatory things that he's just fought.
Yes.
He's felt better, though.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, he kind of took it on the chin a little bit and around the body as he was routinely grabbed, but managed to escape, as we'll discuss in just a moment. Always a pleasure. And again, thank you, Saber, for as always, for work on Moobot Dashboard, etc. Moving on right down the line, it is, of course, the amazing Peripheral Mike, who... I did think I saw this in the Discord channel. Am I now allowed to mention things relating to Mike and GOG?
Yes,
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So
you can be my official announcer.
You're back. It's official. Mike is not just with us on this, but we have gradually and carefully. It was a long play. When Mike left 7 years ago, Pyron was like, "All right, listen, Arv, how are we going to get him back?" I'm like, "Well, we start by getting him involved in a D&D game, and then over time he will be slowly." So I have done that, and my commission, let me tell you, was substantial. No,
oh boy, you made some money off that.
No, it is amazing to have you back, Mike, on the channel in other capacities. But beyond that, it's a pleasure to have you back as part of this. How's life in the universe with you? How do you feel about rejoining the team, the return of Mike, and who are you playing today?
Right, I'm going to go through those in order. How do I feel? Life, universe, and everything. Really good. I got some really solid sleep recently, and I feel like I need to celebrate that because it's quite rare for me. So when you get good deep sleep, you feel it the next day. Let me tell you. So I'm happy. I'm sort of floating through this week. Last couple of weeks, anyone on my stream, anyone on Discord or anything like that, it's been a rough, weird couple of weeks. Now it finally feels like I'm coming out the tail end of it. So it feels really good. Coming back to the streaming team, absolutely terrified. Don't want to do it. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Anyway, no, I'm genuinely really excited. It's been on my mind for a while now, and I just wanted to get a good rhythm of streaming on my channel and a good rhythm of content creation, and I feel like I've got that. And Pyron, God bless her, she's been absolutely fantastic with patience and just all the details that I would need. And I'm like, I'm a different person than I was. I've got a different style than I had. This question. And I'm just like, but what if this? But what if that? But what if this? And she's like, do what makes you happy. You want to do it, do it. You don't. Like, do what's best for you. So I've taken some time and I've decided I'm going to, at the moment, come back one stream a month. Starting tomorrow at 5 p.m, I'm going to be streaming Layers of Fear. Because horror games, obviously. And it's quite thematic because Layers of Fear, the original, was one of the last ones I streamed into completion on GOG as well before I left. So it kind of syncs up. The planets have aligned very slightly. But yeah, today, in my capacity as general chaos merchant, I'm going to be playing Silvojanus Betulus, who is our Aberrant Minds sorcerer, half-elven sorcerer, and is very excited. And I've been waiting for this session for ages, because now he's going to be like, I did a magic thing. I did a thing. Are you alive? I've done a thing. I don't know what I did, but I think I helped.
Yes, exactly. And I am excited to see that reaction, since there is still a little bit of a well, we'll see. There's mysteries to be solved, as I think the party would agree, within this place, as they're trying to figure things out about this haunted mine. But we'll come back to that in just a moment. But it's a pleasure to have Mike back with us. And last but certainly not least, it is also a pleasure to have Inanda back with us. Very much a pleasure, Inanda, to have you back with us. And hopefully excited for some gameplay separate from all other things that exist in the world. How are you doing? How's life in the universe with you? And who were you playing today, Inanda?
I'm so excited to be back here playing D&D. I've missed you guys. I've missed D&D. It's been a hot minute, and I do apologize for my absence. But yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy whirlwind of a time, but hopefully it will settle out soon. And at the weekend, I have to say, on GOG, obviously everyone's talking about Baldur's Gate 3, but I actually got to play Baldur's Gate 3 over here on GOG with my tallest spawn. My son joined me on stream, and it was so much fun. He absolutely loved it. He was a little nervous, but absolutely loved it. And the game's brilliant. I'm going to be blitzing that offline. But yeah, apart from my voice being a bit hoarse and my brain being a bit fuzzy, I'm all good, thank you. And I'm so glad to be back here playing D&D. I'm playing tonight Brine the Bloodthirsty. She's a water genasi fighter pirate. She doesn't always make the best decisions, but she makes them with the best of intentions. And that is kind of her underarching theme. But yeah, so glad to be back tonight. Can't wait for the session.
Good stuff, as always. It's a pleasure to have everyone back. And chat, it's good to be with all of you again. And with that, let's fire up my Lost Mine music here, which seems appropriate. A little on the nose. It's just like, do you have anything for a, drowned mine, lost mine? Make sure that I got my music. Hang on. Yes, I hear it. Good. Lovely. Okay. Let us talk about what happened in our last session. So, as you folks... As I grab my book. As you may remember, chat, these fine people, brought together by circumstance and fate, have been dealing with the fine people, sometimes fine, sometimes not so fine, of Saltmarsh on the shores of Kaeland. And one of the things that the party has been trying to figure out is what's going on with the overall sort of mystery that's been rising there. There's always, of course, there are always pirate raids. There are always creatures from the deep that one has to be afraid of and be concerned about. There are always intricacies and intrigues. But something in particular seems to have been larger than any of that when the party was sent to deal with a haunted house during the sinister secret of Saltmarsh. And it turned out that it was not actually haunted, unless you count being haunted by a group of smugglers who were using it as a base of operations. The question was, smuggling what? And the answer was certain weapons, and in certain cases also enslaved folk, specifically the lizard folk. And when the party explored a little bit further, after a minor disagreement with the boat that they sank that the lizard folk had commandeered, but that's a long story, the party, and in the process, by the way, saving Oceanus himself from what otherwise would have been I don't know if it's a watery tomb because he can breathe underwater, but he just would have been there for a long time, and that would have been bad. So the party managed to escape from all of that, and in danger at Dunwater, they were able to bring an alliance about, or at least further the alliance that the lizard folk queen was attempting to broker among a number of the, if not good, at least neutral or honorably aligned races of the sea. Why? Because their hated enemy, the Sahuagin, have somehow become unified by some other force. It's not clear what that force is, but the Sahuagin, which tend to be sort of raiders and do all these things that people don't like but are never particularly unified, having them come together in one unified form is quite dangerous to everyone involved, including the people of Saltmarsh. And so, after winning over the favor of the lizard folk by the defeating of Thousand Teeth and several other activities, the party then returned back to Saltmarsh, where they had to fight the thousand teeth of diplomacy, I guess one might say, by going into the council and trying to convince these disparate factions that they needed to join said alliance. The council was uncertain, I think it's fair to say, but it wasn't until after Anders Solmar actually came out to talk to them that they realized that things had changed. Specifically, that there was an item that needed to be found on board this ship, which was known as the Emperor of the Waves. This ship was supposed to have been lost, but in fact, apparently has been seen again, and apparently manned by strange, mysterious creatures. It may perhaps be a ghost ship. Not the first time the party has heard about ghost stuff, and they were all prepared to go do that when they heard that one of the problems that has been happening in the area is a local silver mine, which may have been taken over also by creatures of the undead. And so the party decided to go and explore the mine in the hopes they could find out some information, and that might lead them in turn to this Emperor of the Waves, where they can hopefully get this weapon that will be useful for Anders and which will successfully manage to hopefully ingratiate themselves enough with the council that the council will actually listen to them in time enough to avoid the potential invasion from the Sahuagin and their evil allies. At least that's the theory. So the party explored the haunted mines. This was actually all the way back in May, believe it or not, during ArvCon, when they discovered a rather unfortunate surprise. That is that there are a number of people down here that are dead already, and they soon found out why, because these powerful creatures known as apparently crabigators came up and battled the party. They managed to fight them off. They killed one, they drove off the other, and as the one that they killed sank below the waves, they heard somewhere in the distance of the mines a type of thing. And that, of course, was a big problem because it suggests that perhaps the spirits of the dead are indeed somewhere down within this mine. So as I bring things back over to the party, I want to start actually with none other than Oceanus. Oceanus, you have been swimming from the outside water into this area, and you've been coming here with a specific message or a specific mission, which is to say that you have indeed found this quote-unquote ghost ship, this Emperor of the Waves, and you have discovered that it may have something to do with the Sahuagin threat, although you don't know entirely what that is. In any case, you as a sea elf are aware that anytime there are ships wandering around manned by the undead, it's a huge problem. This is not the way that things should normally work. And so, given a tip from from listening around town, you realize that the party must have gone to this silver mine. And you, of course, with expertise, knowing everything underwater near around the coast, have been able to swim in this way. And so, literally, I'm going to put you right here, Oceanus. Literally, you are swimming up to the top when suddenly there's a thrashing from above you, and floating down past you with its claws up and its eyes closed with huge rents in its shell, you see this massive crab gator thing that's there. And it basically, like, you just avoid, like, just get out of the way before it literally just sinks past you. And you hear the sound of people talking above you as you are just about ready to surface. Now, I put you right next to the dock there, but if you want to, like, make some, mysterious like leap out of the water, that's totally up to you. But I want to start with you and ask what you want to do, because there are definitely some bodies floating in the water, and in particular this creature that I mentioned just sank past you.
Just keep swimming, swimming. So yes, pop out of the water.
So
Holding my
Morthwell,
stomach.
you can see that.
The bull turns to face this thing bursting out of the water and begins charging a ballista.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, it's yourself. the bull sort of stands down.
I thought the bull was going to leap
says,
over him into the water. Like,
please remind him I'm a friend. Don't kill me with the bull. Thanks.
Although you
It's
don't
good to see
speak
you.
common, right? So you're just getting...
I'm sorry, I was saying that in Elvish. I wasn't clear about that.
Okay,
I'm actually, no, because I don't think I see Silvo because he's invisible, if I recall correctly.
Silvo,
so
you
I'll say
wouldn't
that.
see.
I think I could probably get what you're meaning from context right now, especially because you're a friend. So I'll just nod, just like, all right. I'll just turn around and tinker with the bull.
And
All right,
Waves
give a
and
little
Brian,
bow, thanks.
you're pulling yourself as you sort of pulling yourself up from the ground. Silvo is still on the other side of that curtain, so it is the case, I think, that you wouldn't necessarily be seen there. Silvo can just sort of walk right back through. Also, I should have done this before. I apologize. Just a quick hit point check. Waves, I have you at 13 out of 46 as of
I
last
have
check.
myself at 16 out of 36,
Could
but I'm willing to defer to DM.
I think? Well, let's find out if Morthwill is accurate, and if not, then maybe I'm off. Morthwill, I have you at 16 out of 34.
Correct.
Okay. The Clockwork Bull, I still have at 15. How long does the bull last, by the way?
You're going to hate me for this, but it lasts for an hour.
Oh, that's fine. No, I don't hate you for that.
Okay.
Not at all, especially if I can turn it to my... I mean, so, Silvo, I
The boss
have you...
descends from the ceiling. Your bull retracts into a cube.
Silvo, I have you at 24 out of 24.
Yes.
You were not hitting that fight. Brian, you were, though. 26 out of 42.
I've got 24 out of 42, but I'll take 26 if you want to give that.
I tell you what, we'll have Waves be with 13 and you be with 26 since it's in both directions. Or you can fight it out if you want to go in each way. You could have it like one of you gets
No,
one
give-
We've done
give-
that session. We've
Give
done that session
Waves
already.
more.
All right, I'll put Waves at 16 and I'll put you at 24 then, Brian.
Yeah.
And then Oceanus, I had you before, just so you know, before you were at 28 out of 30 in a level of exhaustion, but the exhaustion since then has passed. So this is just your hit point total. But we are level 4 now, so we need to double check and make sure. I don't know if that 30 hit points was with you being level 4, or I'm not
Yeah,
positive.
technically Oceanus has always been level 4. It's a little weird how they do NPC
Okay,
hit points. So I didn't increase my hit points,
Okay.
and I've just kept them as level 4.
Going forward, though, you'll be able to level with the party as needed, so that will be the case. Okay, so all right, now we have everyone like that. Okay, so yes, I'll come to Silvo in a minute, but Waves and Brian, you can both see Oceanus pulling himself up on the dock, the almost the bull almost charging, et cetera, et cetera.
I point at him and shout,
How strange.
I give Waves a hand up as well as Brian. I suppose if I got two hands, I'll help them out of the water if they're not quite out yet. My friends, good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Where have you been?
Oh, I've just in town, listening around. I found the ship. I found the ghost ship. I heard something. I'm not sure if it was me, but I think I just heard something as well, which may or may not be the ghost ship, or at least some undead. So we must be careful. Though, what were those? There was a crab, or it looked like an alligator, but a crab that just went past me as I came up out of the water. What was that? Was that you? I mean, was that your doing? I suppose it wasn't you.
Not our doing. I've never seen anything like that before. It's a abhorrence of nature. Yeah.
Never seen such an abomination. And I've been in the sea a long time. Well, not for an elf, but for others maybe. I've never heard of such a thing. This is wrong. I mean, obviously we got to take care of that ghost ship, but this is wrong. We have to figure out if we can where this came from as well.
I agree. I'm gonna move down here. Is there any indication of from the? I do apologize. I had to literally leave for 2 minutes. My neighbor knocked at my door because they've lost their dog, and I checked my garden, so I missed the preamble. So I'm not quite sure the exact nature of where we are at the moment and what we're doing. I know that Silvo's the other side of a curtain. We've just met an alligator crab, and there are some dead bodies.
That I will be happy to jump in, but maybe one of the parties should explain as best they can, and I'll switch as needed.
Pretend Brian had a knock to the head and just needs a little bit of a recap.
Well, these here dwarves, they're Duragar. I guess you could call them deep dwarves. I guess they're as close to drow as dwarves will ever get. Eek. We're not usually on friendly terms, the hill clans and the drow. The Duragar. Or the drow, to be fair. Nobody likes the drow. I found that out recently when I did a trial of one in PG3. I've been very sheltered about how drow are seen in D&D.
Yeah. Yep.
Can I have a look over the bodies to see if there's any indication of kind of like any indication of why they're here or any?
Morthwell specifically checking this guy and if he can, this dwarf.
Okay.
With the dwarf, he's specifically looking to see if there's any evidence of enslavement, like manacles, remains of manacles. Probably not a lot left of the body at this point. But...
Right. Yeah, there does. I mean, that you don't need an investigation check to see that there don't seem to be any manacles on here. Although it does look as if these were workers at some point that had worked within here, but have since died and were killed by something. The thing that's a little troubling about this, though, is that you don't know why they're dead. Like they don't really have any obvious marks on them, with the exception of, now this is an important exception, the fact that a couple of them have massive claw scratches. So clearly the Crabigator must have grabbed one or two of them. But if you had to guess, you would need to be able to do some medicine checks to find out more. But just from this, you don't. They cuts, like the marks don't look that severe, so you don't know why they're dead. You don't think they drowned. They should be walking around.
Okay.
Give it a few minutes.
Yeah, I'd like to investigate a bit further.
I'm specifically going to be searching this person I'm right next to, the odd one out.
Okay, let me have you make a medicine check, and Brian, same for you.
Okay,
I'll come to you in a sec.
I'll consult my magic 8-ball and give myself some guidance on that.
Okay.
I think I'll need the +2. The +4, D4. Or not!
Wow, look at that.
It was a 50-50. I got no skill in medicine at all.
Mate, that's amazing.
I read something about this
Suddenly
200 years ago.
Yeah,
it's detective vision, and you see his entire circulatory system. It's a 3D rendering.
Yeah, I'm getting the Batman Arkham crime computer.
Yeah. Suddenly he's house and like knows everything.
It's because we're in a mine. Suddenly it's like...
Yeah, exactly. I'm on my home turf.
Good for his memory.
So there are a couple things you can note for sure, Morthwell, with that. First of all, absolutely, they were not killed by the Crabigator. Now, the Crabigator probably didn't help, but that was not the thing that killed them. They were probably dead before this. Secondly, the thing that you've noticed is that it almost appears to you as if these creatures have been, how do I put this, embalmed somehow. That is to say that they should be able to just stand up and walk around, except that they almost look as if they had been prepared for something. So something was done to them to give them this unnatural sort of, like, the skin is smooth and their pallor, looks like relatively normal, and it's only when you get close that it's almost like they've been preserved in formaldehyde or something like that, and they're just sort of lying on the ground like that, again in these sort of scattered positions. But you did critically hit this medicine, you also don't see any like injection marks, like you don't see anything where there was something, like you don't see any example of them having been experimented upon, but there it is. They are physically in fine condition, except they're not breathing, and they've been preserved in this weird kind of like embalmed state. And you have never seen that any of that before.
Well, I can tell you it weren't no Crabigator things that did for these folks. They were dead some time before those folks showed up. What I don't get is... And I knock on one, hoping it makes some sort of like plunk noise. It's like, why has they been preserved? Mighty skillful too. Can't see any craftsman's marks. No sign of tool usage. Aye. Far better than anything I've ever come across.
And it's not giving away their purpose here as well. Why?
Someone wanted them to be around for a long time, I reckon. Otherwise, you wouldn't go to the effort of preserving them. Same as your meat.
Yeah.
Oceanus sees you looking at this and kind of comes up and then says to Brian, I've heard of some undead from the sea that can actually do this so perfectly, no marks. Oh, I think we're in trouble. I think we're in trouble here. This is gonna be fun.
Do I know who Oceanus is speaking about?
He sounds nervous.
No, you have not heard of this
Vaguely
particular
excited.
thing before, and even Oceanus has only heard of this in kind of legend. This is not like, oh yeah, everyone just sort of swims around and does this. Like, and I guess let me rephrase that, Brian. You may have heard legends that fit this, but as a pirate, you are well used to people being like, it was the time that a coral came up and sang to me. Like pirates make crap up all the time, right? But this you may have heard legends of such creatures that might have done things to their victims like this. But again, it's been a long time. But it definitely, like little maybe stories, but nothing specific.
I've never seen anything like this. Never. This is not natural. It makes me uncomfortable.
Would Oceanus know like any more details about what it was, or is it just kind of like
Make a history check. Let's see if you do.
All right. Where's my thing? Good start.
You're like, who am I? No, you not really. You certainly know again that you've heard of these creatures. One thing that is the case is that, as I mentioned, as you mentioned to them, these are sort of undead that exist sometimes within the sea, but again, very legendary, and it's unclear as to where you might have heard the specifics of it.
I don't know anymore. It's almost room of a rumor, but
Right. So we've got some kind of mythical tier craftsman embalmer who may be some sort of sea creature of some kind of great power, who presumably wants a lot of bodies around for a long time. What in the bleeding hell is it doing under Saltmarsh?
Is there any like evidence of like geographically on the actual land near where the pier is, where the water meets land, as it were, of a creature that I'm not familiar with?
Do you mean in this area, like the dock and the water
obviously
here?
Whatever creature that has done this has had to come into contact with the dwarves here. Is there any evidence of a creature that I'm not familiar with that stands out as being not something that I've seen previously?
Of the dead creatures, though, that we're talking about that are on the ground here. You mean, like, are any of these ones that you've seen? Are you saying, is there a creature that you know of that has done stuff like this, or that is?
I was thinking more of like marks in the earth and the rocks and things like that, where they've come out of the water to visit the land, as opposed to, can I omnipotently like deduce the cause? But no, the actual physicality on the rocks between the water and the land.
Okay, yeah, let me have you make an investigation check. Let's see if you do see such things.
Investigation. 10. Probably not.
Not really. I mean, the crabigator things, definitely, you can definitely see marks and scratches in the stone, which is not surprising because they just, you just fought them and they were like holding onto the stone and scraping against it. So that's not surprising. But anything beyond that, you don't know, you're not really familiar with that. I mean, again, it's very odd that, as Morthwell reports, there are not even any like injection wounds or anything like this, which suggests that if there was an experiment going on or something like that. That wasn't how whatever this was conveyed. You don't know if this is like a disease or something else, or if it's done by some creature. Again, except for what Oceanus points out about this legend that he's heard of, but otherwise, probably not. You don't see anything obvious that would be signs of a physical creature you're not familiar with, except for those scrapes in the stone, which we just talked about. Silva, while this is going on, by the way, you were on the other side of that curtain. I'm curious what you were doing.
Basically cowering behind the curtain and hoping the creatures have gone away. So there's the brief moment where he sort of pokes his head out and he sees everyone's sort of stood around. So he'll kind of scurry out to probably about here, see Waves, and then scurry over because he saw Waves get chomped on quite a lot and sort of go, "You're all right? Are you okay? I think I helped. I think I did a thing. Are they gone? Are they dead?" And he sees Oceanus. He's like, "Wait, what are you doing here? Wait, but are you okay?" He looks back at Waves.
I touch Silver's arm lightly and say,
It's a spell.
and then like pat him on the shoulder and do a thumbs up.
There's a second, and Silvo, for the first time, gives you the biggest hug you've ever had, basically. And then he runs over to Brian and does exactly the same thing. And he goes over to Morthwell and he's like, and he sort of puts his hand out in like a hearty handshake way.
Morthwell accepts it and shakes it in a very solid professional way with a nod as one professional to another. So
yes, very good. Yes,
yeah.
I think. Are we all right? I think I did a thing. I think I did a magic, but I'm not sure, and I didn't know if I was going to hurt anybody. He's just looking over at Brian, looking over at Waves. And
when Silvo comes over to hug Brian like enthusiastically like replies with the hug to the point where she lifts him up off the floor and squeezes that little bit too hard.
12 damage.
Before like realizing that she's squeezing really hard. Like, okay. You did brilliantly. You did brilliantly.
Oh, thank God. So what? We need to get out of here. This is terrifying. Those things might come back at any minute. There might be more of them.
At the very least, we should probably move away from the water.
Come on, this way. Let's go this way. Oceanus, come over here.
I don't know about you, but I could use a bite to eat, maybe a pint.
Sort of way.
Which I'm proposing a short rest, by the way, with that.
Thought you were like going back to town. I'm like, all right.
Oh yeah. See you later.
It's fine. I'll order in. It's okay. Oceanus, when you walk past, Silvo sort of looks at you and goes, "It's really good to see you."
You too. I want to go in for like the bro hug, like you like the strong hand and then the shoulder roll over.
Yeah,
I don't know how Silva's gonna.
There's definitely a very nice sort of. It's kind of a hug with like 3 strong pats on the back, and then for a second, he sort of, in this moment of like almost exhaustion, kind of just rests his head on your shoulder. Like if you were to let go at that moment in time, he'd collapse on the floor, and then after a second, he's sort of like, "Okay, let's go."
Let's go. Give him a big squeeze, buddy.
Waves in the corridor, behind the curtain.
With the lead pipe.
Waves in the corridor behind the curtain with the explosives. Yeah, this is the worst moment to accidentally go, yeah, I got this explosive, but it's ticking.
Oh, yeah, what happened to that super mining explosive? Did I put it in the bag of holding?
I believe so.
I believe that's what you did with it, yeah.
I think you might have, yeah.
And you while you were fighting, you might have heard a but there was no sound, so I'm sure it's all fine.
Pocket dimension, it's fine.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's fine.
Meanwhile, across the
Lots of
Spider-Verse
smoke
is
going
destroyed
out.
somewhere else.
Another Morthal's just had a very bad day indeed.
There's another world where this campaign has just ended.
So in the
Morthwell just opened his bag and this explosive has just rolled out. He's like, oh, not again.
in the multi-Saltmarsh verse, Waves, are you joining them in the in that room?
Yes, I am. I tried to move it by clicking on Twitch. That wasn't my smartest moment.
Ah, okay.
You could have just not told us that. We would have been fine.
Yeah, I would have been like, no, I don't even.
I'm sorry. Like
You
I
can
said,
just
brain
roll with
time.
that. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
My
To be
time,
fair,
not brain time.
I have also done the same thing a couple of times during this entire campaign. So you're not alone.
Okay, so are you going to try? Is there a plan for a short rest here, or are you?
Yes,
Or
short
not?
rest.
I'll actively watch. as I'm,
Yeah, I'm
you know,
on
feeling
short rest
good.
as well.
I will watch as well. I'm fine, and I don't get any spell points back from a.
I'm
spell
going to
slot
use
from short rest.
2 of my hit dice.
Okay, seems appropriate.
I roll it and then I get as many points back as I roll, right?
Plus your con modifier, so that plus
Plus my
con.
con modifier. So my maximum I
Wow.
could get back is 28. That is fine. I'm gonna use 2 die as
Damn,
well.
what were the rolls today?
Jeez, Morthwell with the full out, max. So 32.
I
Hail.
came prepared.
Hale and
I've got-
Hardy.
Do I get the con modifier for each hit die or just once?
Yes. Nope. For each hit die that you roll.
Okay. Then I'm gonna use 2 hit die.
Okay.
One moment. That's 2 d10
Oh, sorry, chat. I had the.
plus con. Roll. I get the same amount back.
Okay.
Nice.
Good
It's
stuff.
spreading.
Good stuff.
Keep it up.
All right. So we
So-
have another 32,
Can I use-
I believe.
Can I use 1 hit die? My con
Yes. Oh,
modifier?
sure. You can do them one at a time, honestly. So, all right. So that's 7. That would bring you to 31. You could use another one if you want, Brian.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Okay. 4 more. That's fine. So 35 out of 42. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Just keep track of how many hit dice everyone has left. Like, how many do you have left, Waves?
1.
Okay.
I've got 1 left.
I
Morthwill?
have 2 left.
You have 2
I've
left?
got
Okay,
2.
Morthwill, 2. Okay. All right.
2. Yeah.
Because apparently
how
I
long
had
is-
I had 3 out of 4 hit die. I just used 2, so I'm down to 1.
Oh.
Okay. Sounds good.
And how long is a short rest? Is it about 20 minutes?
It is, no, a little longer than that. Usually a
Okay.
short rest is about an hour in
right.
length, somewhere in there.
Oh, bye-bye,
at
Bull.
least an hour.
Yeah. That's fine, though. That's fine. I can use a spell slot to cast it again if I want. I'll just have the bull follow me, because sooner or later I'm going to need that marker.
Let's just make sure that the bull is not actually becomes a thing. Okay, so you're
No,
there.
it's gone back to a cube again. It's
Okay.
back in my backpack.
That's right. Okay, so you had opened the door. I don't know if it was Silva that did this, but one of you had opened the door here to the south and revealed this hallway, leading down, and then it closed it again. And then you could see the edge of the docks. Now there's more actually of the docks that extend well to the west. And Oceanus, when you came in that you swam a good distance from the open sea, to get to the point where these docks were. So there's more, water out that way, and this does extend out to the land. And one last sort of reminder to everybody, you may remember that one of the dwarven guards, when you first came in on the top level, had said that one of their, they thought, drunken compatriots claimed to have seen undead walking out of the sea into this place. So like walking up into the mines somehow. So that may have been drunken rantings, or there may have been something to it. But in any case, that's what you're aware of. You've already explored to the east, and to the north is the place that leads you out. It's basically the stairs up and out of here.
Well, them coming out of the sea certainly matches up with the things some of you folk have heard about creatures that can do the sort of thing we've just seen.
I've only heard legend. I don't know any details.
Is this place being worked, or is it being attacked?
It doesn't seem under siege at the moment.
Well, I'd be just as in favour of staying away from deep pool puddles for a while, nonetheless.
Yeah, under siege from what? I don't want to. I don't know. Someone feels a bit off about this entire place.
Can Oceanus take a moment to see if he hears any more of that weird moaning, and if so, where it might be coming from?
Yes, and I should mention that it was kind of echoing through the mines, so it wasn't super easy to know. But if you do a perception check again, Let's see if you hear anything.
Well, that's a little better.
It is a little better. You don't hear anything at the moment, but you thought, theoretically, that some of that sound might have been coming. Let me see if I can do it so that chat can see it. To the south, basically. So somewhere in this darkness is where you thought you might have heard it coming from. I'm not trying to make that too specific, just like someplace in that southern area, but it's very echoey, and it's not clear exactly where everything would be down there. One thing I can say for sure, Oceanus, you can say for sure, is that there's a lot of movement here. In fact, all of you that were on watch could probably hear skittering and like little sort of squeaking sounds, little ripples in the puddles of water that are down here, and all that kind of stuff. It's quite unnerving. But nothing attacks you during your short rest.
Hey, well, we can't rightly say we came, we killed a couple of crabby gators, we heard some spooky noises and left.
I can do that.
I mean, we could, but I don't think
could
it would
totally say that.
make for much help.
It wouldn't do our reputation around town any good, let me tell you. And that reputation sticks, I should know.
Also, a quick reminder, by the way, to the party, just as a note, remember that when you decided to come here, there is a boat which is waiting for you, crewed by dwarves that Morthwheel knows, which is called the Soul of Winter, which they had offered to you to use the boat to go out and search for this other ghost ship that's out there, the Emperor of the Waves. So just be aware that is back in town. If at some point anybody decides, the hell with this noise, we're going to go to the ship. Just letting you know that exists.
Well, keep a straight line to the exit.
We'll leave the breadcrumbs. All right.
Follow the
Are we
half-elf.
we finished the short rest?
I believe so, yes.
Yep.
Hey,
So,
no
did
time like the
Oceanus-
present.
I'm sorry, did Oceanus mention that the noises were coming from the south?
Did you, Oceanus?
Well, I assume, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes. Yes. I would have mentioned
So
that.
Silver looks
I
at the
heard
southern
from
door and is
south.
like, so not that way then, right now? Or are we going that way right now?
Would you rather go past the docks?
Hmm. Alright, fair point, you go first.
Is this door to
Okay.
the south open?
It is open, yes.
Not first.
It's. I
Let
mean, you
the big one go
it's
first.
closed at the moment, but it's not locked. It was opened by one of you before. I think Silva, who just opened it and then immediately was like, shut it again because you didn't want to get attacked by a bunch of other
opened it
things.
really quietly.
Yeah.
I opened it stealthily and I was like, yep, no gold. Bye. Click.
Right.
Okay, well, both of us gonna proceed forward if nobody's gonna take him. I mean, I do have dark vision. Periodic reminder from the dwarf that the dwarf has dark vision.
I follow behind second because I am the tankiest.
I'm also going to follow behind, but I am completely blind because I do not have a light. Let me see if I do have a torch.
Were there not lights in this tunnel?
I had taken out my hooded lantern, and
Right.
I can hand it to you.
Right, and it's the hooded lantern. There is maybe a faint light here and there, possibly from luminescent moss, Silvo,
okay.
but there's not a lot of light otherwise. And I should point out, it is a good that what you are all doing makes sense, because although that will interfere with Morthwill's dark vision, it's probably better to do that than have one person who can see just fine and a bunch of blind people trying to fight, in a corridor that they don't know. So with a hooded lantern, it should be able to reveal enough if that's what you want to do.
But you two-weapon fighter, so maybe I can take the rapier in one hand and the hooded lantern in the other, and just put the shield on my backpack.
Could also attach it to your belt so you know Waves. That's possible as well.
The hooded lantern or the shield?
The hooded lantern. Although it'd be
Okay,
funny
then
to
I'm gonna-
attach the shield to your belt, but no.
This
The
shield
hooded
in your
lantern.
belt, just
I'm
hit me
gonna-
on this hip.
Yeah, exactly.
It did for carrying purposes, I thought. Although, no matter. So yeah, I'm gonna put the hooded lantern on my belt then and carry shield and rapier.
Okay. All right.
Morthwell looks around and goes, yeah, I really should make one of those.
Exactly.
I love the impression I get at the moment of we've always let brine and waves go first because they're the fighters, right? And now we're underground. Morthal's like, I'll lead the way.
I'm in good armor with a shield. I'm basically a mobile metal wall at the moment. A little metal
And I'm
barricade.
hungry.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to proceed then towards the end of the corridor, but I would like to be checking for traps as I'm going, like tripwires, things like that.
Are people trying to be stealthy as they do that, or do you figure after the battle against the Crabigators there's not much point?
I'm in splint mail, it ain't happening. No scale mail, that ain't happening.
Okay.
And I'm not taking that off.
I figured. Okay. All right.
I'll also be extra careful after the battle with the Crabigators and really look around for anything that moves is suspicious, might want to explode or grab me or whatever.
Let me have you make an investigation check for me, Morthwell, since you're looking for traps, as you said on the way down.
Yeah, I'll do that with guidance. No, I won't.
Wow. Good gravy. Okay. It's all wireframe. It's suddenly Dungeon Keeper. You control all things. Okay. So you do not find any traps. Exactly, yeah. You do not find any traps, but there is something else which you might discover, which might be of interest to you, and that is that as you go further south, you can see that there are these wooden beams let me highlight them, right here, that are kind of, sorry, Chad, let me bring you all down to this, that are kind of bracing against the loose earth in this hallway. And the hallway extends further to the south this way, but also goes over to the west, over in this direction. And the thing you notice as you go down this way is that the corridor itself, it's holding up for now, but the walls and in fact the pillars themselves have seen better days. The wood itself of the pillars are kind of swollen with moisture, and you can see several ominous looking cracks in those pillars. You're not sure why this is the case, but it does feel as if these things are not the most stable things you've ever seen. So it's not a trap per se, but this is not the most stable place you've ever been.
I wonder what would happen to this room if that explosive had gone off.
So do I.
So, Silver's just, you just hear this noise from behind you.
So I guess I'd go up to about there probably if nothing's immediately grabbed me as a threat. Then I'd be taking it in at that point because I'd be stopping and go, hang on a minute.
Yep. And there is
and
something
then,
else you
like
see
the
too.
X-ray vision on that, like, yeah, out come the glasses and I'm leaning towards like, hey, they got fractures. This wasn't built to last.
Two notes here. First of all, when you get that far in, you can see that there is some kind of a statue right here, which I will describe in a moment. And also, you can just make out from your vantage point, although it's hard to see, you can just make out what looks like it might be maybe like an edge of a book or a desk or something that's down over here in this little alcove. This statue you can see looks like a dwarf or possibly a Duragar, a dark dwarf, holding a pickaxe and a large gemstone. If you wanted to see more, you'd have to get closer to that. So there's that. And then right over on this side, as I mentioned, is some like book or desk or papers or something that you can't quite tell. You'd have to go further down over here to see what might be there.
Now, here's the fun part. I got to realize back to everyone without shouting the cavern down and without the message getting changed. So I turned to Waves, of course.
Excellent.
I'm like, when we get in there, try not to bang into anything. Those pillars are very unstable. The whole thing could come down on us.
I turn back to Brian and repeat exactly that
Of course,
in multiple voice.
The party stenographer.
And I repeat to Oceanus, because he doesn't speak common, exactly what Morthwood has said, but looking at Silver and say, just keep you cool, okay? Just keep you cool. Everything will be fine.
I'm not touching nothing. I'm not touching nothing. Lead the way. I'm not touching
Yep.
anything. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm going to head. I'm going to gesture that I'm headering. Yeah, I'm just going to dive headfirst into this pillar. No, I'm.
The entire dungeon collapses. That's our show. Thanks for coming.
No, I'm just going to gesture with like my hand, like as I'm walking around to show I'm going this way, and I'll head to about here and wait to see what everyone's doing.
Okay, and I'll reveal a little more of what you can see from there.
Can I have a listen down this corridor to the south?
You may indeed. Could I get a perception check from you, please?
Yeah.
Music you've picked fits this perfectly as well. It just by divine providence is like the audio stings tend to be matching up with stuff that's happening. It's been great fun.
It is amazing.
12.
Yeah, there's clearly the dripping noises of this whole, area down here drips from the ceiling and from the walls. And as I mentioned, the little kind of like chittering and squeaking and movement in the darkness of various creatures and things like that, Brian, but not anything obvious in terms of like I'm a monster down here, down to the south.
Okay,
I look over my shoulder to like Oceanus and Silvo.
I take a look at the statue.
Yeah.
So-
and I'm moving closer to the statue.
I'm not touching it or
Right.
just looking.
So
Yep.
the statue is as I mentioned before, it's this very muscular Duragar holding a pickaxe and a large gemstone. And I would like those of you looking at the statue, I would like an history check for me, please. As you look at this thing.
History check.
Yeah, Morthwill, you can actually do this at advantage, although clearly you don't need to because
You know what?
your
I'm going to
rolls
try
today-
for a crit anyway.
I cannot wait for the combats that had to come where it's like one.
Yeah,
one.
I know, right? I know.
Okay, so
He was a great RPer when he was alive.
exactly. Okay, so we have Silva, Waves, Morthwill. Oceanus, what about you? If you're looking at it.
Oh, sure. I wasn't really actually planning on looking.
Okay,
Figured,
then that's fine.
I don't know what this is.
You don't have to. That's cool. All right. So Morthwill, you certainly know this, and Waves and Silvo, Inanda, you're not familiar. Inanda, yes. By which I meant Brian. Brian is not familiar with this. But Waves and Silvo and Morthwill all might have seen this before. This you think depicts a dwarven god, which is commonly prayed to by miners for protection and good fortune. It's kind of like the patron dwarven god of miners.
What's his name?
Cave god.
Say again?
Yeah, do I know the name of the god?
You probably would. His name would be Calarist.
Calarist. Write that down. I don't know why.
Silver's just like, yes. The diggy god, Clever Septim.
Aye. So Morthwell stands in front of them, bows his head, puts a gold piece at the foot of the statue, and you just hear him go, "Diggy, diggy hole."
Do you say this, by the way? This is important. What language are you speaking to the statue in?
Dwarvish.
Okay. You feel, Morthwill, and a kind of a tingle around your body. And suddenly you feel stronger, maybe more protected. Mechanically, what this means is that you are blessed at the moment with resistance to bludgeoning and piercing damage.
Make a note of that. Thank you. Thank you, Calarist. What was this? So what was it? Resistance to bludgeoning
And piercing.
and piercing. Thank you.
Do you relate?
I'll
this
add
to
4 now.
21?
Yeah, because
Well,
you feel it, but you don't. It's not like a glow. Around
Yeah,
you
it's
or anything.
it's just like that warm. For me, it's just like I've just felt a warm sensation from praying to one of my deities. It's not really something that you would feel has happened. I would think.
If there was like a physical sort of thing that happened to you, Silver was going to go, teach me how to say that. Silver was.
Ryan has
definitely
no
gonna
idea,
take that
but she
coin.
glanced
No.
over just to see Morthwill's beard just like
Yeah.
slightly blowing in the
Right,
breeze.
right. Or stand
Yes.
on end a bit, like
But
we'll step
where
out.
did the breeze come from?
Ooh.
I like that.
Waves, since you were over in that area, I assume you're looking to the south, like in that vicinity.
Yes.
Okay.
Waves doesn't want to pray to any dwarf statues, so I'm looking at what's over here.
Okay. Thank you to whoever just followed. For some reason, it's not popping up above. I don't know why, but it's not popping up high enough. I wanted to show itself. Show yourself so that we can actually see it. Anyway, whoever that was, thank you for the follow on the GOG channel. Okay. So that is what you see to the south there is a small nook, and there's a desk on it. And you can see that there's a drawer from the desk that's open, and there are a few like scattered papers and things like that on the desk and around it, and one completely like destroyed book, like water damaged and all that, just sort of lying face down on the ground, pages rotted away and so on. Waves.
I peer carefully at the notes and into the drawer, but Morthwell said not to touch anything, so I'm not touching anything.
I would like an investigation check from you, please.
Okay. Investigation, where are you? There you are. Oh. Yep. I found a paper. It looks like a note.
Yep, definitely a lot of notes. You can say, one thing you can say is that they do vaguely look like maybe letters, but you're not sure what kinds of letters or under what circumstances. They're just sort of letters.
I make a small chirping sound, see if I can get the attention of the others.
Okay.
Brian's coming over to have a look.
Yeah.
I point at the papers and shrug.
I'd like to have a look at the papers
Okay.
first, but I'm not listening to the no touchy rule. So when I've had a look at the papers, I also want to pick up the wet book.
Okay. Let's have the investigation check first, please.
Just while you're doing that, Morthwell, are you moving away from the statue?
Morthwell's not just having looking back between the statue and the pillars with a thought at the moment. He's like trying to piece something together.
Okay. And Brian, you're kind of like, are you sure there were papers? Because I don't know. You
Just
not
looks
click.
like
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah.
I can't see.
And the book is it's again, you may be letters of some kind, but you're not sure to whom. And those things on the ground, that book on the ground is ruined and destroyed. You're not sure what it was.
It just looks like paper. To Waves.
Okay, I nod. That was my impression as well.
Okay. Morthwell seems to have decided something and heads over. He's going, hey, well, if they're worshipping Calirist, they clearly gave some damn about doing a good job. Because Calirist wouldn't protect anybody doing sloppy mining. Maybe this wasn't made to last. Maybe it just had to last long enough for something.
Okay, you say that. I point to the statue, I point to the ceiling, and make a motion of the ceiling dropping on the holy statue, and look at you like, is this what is meant to happen?
I'd see why. It's a lot of effort just to break a statue.
With Morthwell having mentioned the name Calirist, do I recognize that name?
Yes, you have heard about it, although very vaguely. It is a dwarven mining god, so probably not something Brian, typically would come in contact with, but you have heard the name, yes. But yeah, no, that's all. Just like, yes, you would have heard of them. Yes.
There's a long second where Silvo stood in front of this statue looking at this golden coin that Morthwell has left on it. And he decides not to take it.
All right, then. We see a moment of a smash cut to maturation of Silvo, the training experience.
There's an alternate universe where Silvo is very rich because of this dress.
Yes, exactly. Or an alternate one where he's very dead because he's been smashed into the
Because the
ground.
statue fell on him.
Yeah, exactly.
The statue's the only thing keeping the ceiling up at the moment. We hang a Calirist, we may have major headaches.
And you do hear occasionally a, you know,
So
not. I don't want to say it's gotten worse. I'm just saying every so often you hear that.
It's even seasoned dwarves know that that's not a good sound you want to spend too much time around if you can avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably should think about moving on. Have you found anything over here?
I do the same thing as before. I point at the
Paper.
papers and
Okay, I will investigate.
Okay, go ahead. You can make an investigation check for me.
Guidance? You know,
So
you know,
I love the
you
idea.
know, just for good measure. There you go. Boom.
27. I love the idea that Waves and Brian are like, this is just paper, and you're like, paper? This belongs in a museum. No, not like that. So when you pick it up, they are indeed letters, but as you can read, these are they're sort of smudged, you know, from the water and so forth, but in Dwarvish, you can read that these are letters home that apparently had been as yet unsent from miners to their families, talking about how I'm coming home soon, and a lot of discussion of, as you just kind of quickly scan through them, I can't wait to be out of this place. There's something very wrong about all of this. I don't like this feeling. And these are letters from people that obviously are kind of seasoned miners. Like there's a reference at one point to like, you know, I've been working underground for 25 years and never seen it, that type of thing. And the letters are very much all have a similar tone in that something troubling was happening to the miners here. And the people writing the letters anyway didn't know what it was.
Right. Something had the miners very, very spooked. Unless this is in Dwarvish, but a dwarven miner doesn't get spooked by a few creaks and groans. We've been down in the deeps. We've heard the knockers knocking. We've seen the lamplights trying to lead you to your fate. We don't scare easy in mines. And these boys were getting scared.
Well, what does it say? Is it? Do you tell us the gist of what?
Yeah. I'll read through a few, particularly the choice parts about something is wrong here.
Okay.
They don't need to know all about the, you know, I hope you and dearest little Dottie are well and all of that.
Or drums in the deep we cannot get out. You know,
There's definitely taking that tone towards the end there.
I know you said don't touch anything, but should we take those with us?
I was thinking the same thing. This is a lot of evidence that cannot be easily dismissed.
I mean, I'm not the sentimental type, but I think some people might want those.
Also that.
Definitely. Yes. And who knows, we might get rewarded for it. You never know.
I specifically with the don't touch anything. I specifically meant the walls and the pillars. I probably should have been a little more specific there. That one's on me.
And me around, you can never be too careful. He sort of pulls back at the gold coin.
And you can also see here there are these two doors on the western edge of the room. The hallway extends up to what you think are the docks. At least if you had to guess, you hear the sound of water from there. That suggests that those are the docks from which you just fought the Crabigator, etc. And then the only other way out of this room, beside the way you came, is this area down here that leads into something.
Okay, now that the no-touchy rule is no longer in effect, Waves gets closer to the desk and is looking for secret compartments because she has learned about those in the old house.
Mm-hmm.
And she likes to repeat things as they have been done before.
Okay. I'll give you another investigation check.
Is this a door on the left-hand side?
It is,
I
yes.
was thinking that.
That's a door right there, and there's a door up here as well. One door here.
So in a sec, when the investigation check's done, someone's going to listen by this door.
Okay.
11.
You see the letters that were referred to, and then you sort of look in the desk. You don't think there's any, you can't tell, but you don't think there's any secret compartments or anything like that. It also looks to you, though, as you've been looking through this, Waves, like this desk has already been rifled through.
Okay. Waves is not telling that to anybody, but just those.
Okay.
Because that would be really difficult to mine.
Silvo, perception check for me, please. You said you were listening at that door.
Wabam.
Wow.
21. Crit. That's my turn, baby.
All you hear are a little bit of like and then like rattling. Basically the sound of little rocks and pebbles falling on the other side. Very small. They must be tiny, but you can hear a couple of those falling and then kind of rolling along the floor.
So he does this sort of like, he's got his hands behind his back because he doesn't want to touch anything. He's sort of leaning against the door, and then he turns back to everyone and goes, in a slightly comedic, loud whisper, "I don't hear anything dangerous behind this door." And then moves to the other door, which I assume I can see from here.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a perception check there as well, please.
Well, bam. 11.
Okay, let's see. You, on the other side of this door, you hear a little, sort of a repeated sound. It's kind of a clicking sound, intermittent. So you hear kind of a just intermittent clicking sound.
It doesn't sound like dripping. It sounds like clicking.
Sounds like clicking, not dripping, yeah.
Clicking.
I
Okay.
mean, there's always dripping everywhere, but yes.
Yeah. But there's a definite clicking noise behind that door.
Yep.
I'm just going to go over here and whisper loudly to the others. I don't know if there's something dangerous behind this door. What monsters click? And he looks at Brian. Do you know any monsters that click? Like,
Did the alligator crabs click?
wasn't that
But it
loud?
was a very loud click, much louder than this.
Unless it's a very, very small crabbigator.
A babby.
It could be. I have to say, this enclosed space makes me kind of nervous. I know that you're used to being in the comfort of the mines, Morthwheel, but this is not my domain. How about we try this door? And I move to where Morthwheel is. I'm not going to open it. I'm just looking at everyone for confirmation. Can we go through the door?
I think when it comes to a chaser door, the one without the weird sound is the safer bet.
Silver just points at the door everyone stood near. No clicky, and points at the other door. Clicky.
You learned at the Artificers Guild pretty quick. You don't just burst in on a room with clicking noises in it. It could be a critical experiment.
I hadn't even thought about that. You've got stuff that clicks all the time. That bull was making a weird clicking noise. I want to fight one of those. Right, well, let me get to my normal safe position behind waves.
I'll be checking for traps while they jostle around.
Go ahead and do that.
Okay, what's that? Investigation?
Investigation, yep.
Come on, let's keep the streak going. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
that was
take
good.
it.
Not bad. Yeah,
It's
you
still within
don't.
the window.
You don't think this. In fact, this room is not even locked. This door.
Okay. I push the door.
So when you open the door, yes, exactly. You were all destroyed. No. When you
And-
open the door, you reveal basically a narrow passageway with one end of it that is clearly collapsed. And it almost looks like it was kind of the rough sort of thing suggests there might have been some mining going on there. And there's a bunch of rubble that you see on this side, and every so often a little pebble like falls from the ceiling and kind of just rolls down. Looking up Morthwheel, it doesn't look like it's imminently going to collapse, but definitely that this seems like it was intended to be a new tunnel that didn't end up that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, to a
That does
dwarf, I
not
think that
look
looks
like a safe
remarkable.
direction.
I'd say, well, it's remarkably uninteresting, to be honest. You see this all the time in mines. You think you've got a promising new vein, and it doesn't pan out after a couple of feet. Surprised there ain't more of them. And Morthwheel just walks away. So, yeah.
Okay.
You see one half
Bad tunnel.
finished tunnel, the other. Yeah.
Is everyone else following or staying and
That's
looking?
exactly where I am.
This is my hole. It was made for me.
What about you, Oceanus? Are you staying where you are? Or
Are we going to the
Knew
other door? Or
Waves
are we
would go
going down the
that door.
corridor? I didn't
I
quite
knew Waves would go.
catch
that
what you
door.
said.
I'm following Waves to the other door because I would rather go towards where I know water is as opposed to deeper into the caves.
Go to my normal position. between the
I realise
danger-
I've just turned round and everybody's piled past me, so I'm at the back.
Yep.
Hey, wait, hey now! You know I got little legs.
Keep the tall ones between me and the danger.
Okay. So, I've already described what the sound would be. What would you like to do?
Now that I'm at the door, I would also try to listen to the sound because I never trust anybody to repeat a sound just like it is.
Okay, go ahead and
I'd
make
be
your
offended if
perception
you
check,
weren't
please.
so good at it.
14.
Same thing. This sort of.
Yeah.
Like
I
this.
repeat that sound back to the others as I hear it, so maybe somebody can identify it.
If it's a gold clock, I found it first.
Does Oceanus recognize it? Yeah.
I don't think you would, Oceanus. Except that it's definitely not like a crabigator or something like that. At least not the size of the ones that you fought previous. Well, you didn't fight, but your compatriots fought previously. Oh, wait a second.
I look expectantly back at the others, repeat the sound, and see if anybody says anything or shrugs or does anything.
Oceanus shrugs.
Brian shrugs and reaches for the door.
Okay. So when you open the door, you reveal the following.
Shut the door.
There
shut
is
the door.
this thick chitinous fungus is covering the shelves and the floor and the ceiling of this 15-foot wide room. And there is the corpse of a Duragar miner who's resting against this wall here, right over here. And their body is almost entirely covered by fungal growths.
It's literally a clicker, ladies and gentlemen.
I was going to say, are they dead or is this Last of Us type territory?
I mean,
Sorry.
Can
We
we-
didn't mean to interrupt.
I
Does this door have
Can't
a
bet a
lock
game on
it?
this. I'm just gonna roll with it.
I'm still at the door, so I stare at the.
I'm at the back round the corner. I don't know what's going on right now.
I don't step into the room. I just stare at the fungus dwarf for a moment, and try to figure out with my extensive medicinal knowledge if this is a good thing or not, without going in.
I guess I'm not going to, I mean, you can sort of see for yourself from a distance. You'd have to get closer if you wanted to actually do a medicine check. I don't think you can determine it from there. Obviously, this person on the ground is quite dead. So the question is, you don't know what killed him.
Well, that's a first step. That's a first step. This is dead is definitely a first step.
Yes.
I'd like to pick up a little stone and throw it at the dwarf and the fungus, if nobody stops me. So I'm
Oceanus is just
picking
gonna
up,
ready his
I'm
crossbow.
picking up
the
the
second
stone
he
and
sees
make
that
like this
happen.
little. I'm gonna throw this motion. I'm gonna throw
Brian
this.
turns around to Morthwin and say, "Is there usually mushrooms in mines?"
What? Yeah, can I roll something? Survival maybe for cave-related molds and fungi.
Yeah, I mean, well, so first of all, just a quick note.
Okay.
Oceanus, you got the you pulled out your crossbow as you were just to be clear, as
Yes.
Waves is doing this.
Readying a shot if it starts,
Okay.
running at us or something.
That's
weird.
the first thing. The second thing is, Morthwill, you can make a nature check if you want to try to get a sense of what you might encounter. It's certainly not unexpected to find molds and fungal growth in damp areas, including in mines.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's roll for nature with guidance. let me have this.
Absolute pudding.
Wow. So 24. So Pedro Pascal comes in. All right, here's the deal. I know something about fungal growths. Yes, I mean, it's certainly the case that you're aware of things like black mold, yellow mold as well, that can have impacts on people, sometimes spores. And you have heard, although you have not run into it yourself, because Morthwill, although, you like hanging out in the mines and all that, you were more of you've been working on boats for the last 100 years. But you have heard of molds which can, on occasion, grow on creatures after their death. How much of that may be attributed to this, you don't know. But I mean, until you see it, I'll just mention that if you go up and kind of peer around, it certainly looks like a lot of fungal growth. Like, that's not normal.
I'm like, let me see what you're doing.
Okay, I'll move aside if I can. Oh, there we go.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'll poke my head around the corner and look in.
Okay.
Not too far. Not stepping across the threshold.
Yep.
Breathe in deeply.
Yeah, exactly. You can see
Eats
what
the
I've
mold.
described. Yes.
It smells tasty.
It's blue cheese. It's totally, yeah.
Smells
Right.
infectious.
Okay, so do I recognize it as any specific type, or does it just like generic
Not from here.
fungus? Either?
You have
Right,
not seen this. You have not seen this kind of fungus before,
Okay.
but you need to get closer.
Not going in that room. I don't know what it is, but I do know you'll find a lots of molds and fungus like to grow in the mines, where it's dark and damp and people get fed shit. But I don't know what that is, but you generally don't want to be breathing in that stuff. It never usually ends well. It could be black mold or yellow mold or...
It looks like the mushrooms we take at parties sometimes, but I don't know. Much bigger.
Doesn't look like it ended very well for that dwurf.
Hey, if it's doing that to
Absolute
him, you'd...
Rager. This is
yes.
absolute rager.
Why don't we just shut the door and pretend we never saw anything?
Okay.
Yeah, Brian just slowly closes the door
Okay. And you do?
and then
I'm
then
not
walks
going in
away.
that room.
Okay.
Wave feels uncomfortable with her back towards the dock area and scurries back into the room.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
Brian's
yeah,
going to
I-
make her way
Grabbing
down to
distance.
the southern route.
I think we've had our fill of the docks for a while.
I'm just going to poke my head in this room, see if there's anything shiny. Like sticking
Okay.
in out of the rubble. or anything
By
like
which
that.
we mean, when you say poke your head in, does that mean you're just looking, or you're like going to walk in and see if there is anything?
Well, if you phrase it like that, I'm just looking.
No. I wasn't trying to be. I was just curious because I mean,
Could
like
you,
you
could you
see
describe
anything.
exactly which stone you stand on? Like, I'm gonna go
Exactly. Just want to make
here.
sure. No.
I'm gonna be like, because I didn't look in this room, so I'm just like, what was in this room? Oh, it's rubble. But
there
gonna
is
look
some
in it.
rubble on the western end. That's right.
And there's nothing like sticking out like gold scepters or candelabras or anything like that.
No, but you could, if you want, you could take a look. And again, you could do an investigation check if you want to. I'm going to say this advisedly: move stuff around a little bit. Obviously, I know you're not going to go
I'm
in there
out.
and start throwing rocks around, but you could carefully look if you wished.
No, hard pass. Hard
Okay.
pass.
Okay.
Oceanus is just going to hold back a bit, just to make sure the clicking noise doesn't get closer as everyone's walking away. Just kind of.
It does not.
So keeping a bit of a
exact
distance.
sound, like same exact amount and sound.
It
In that
starts
case, I'll
playing
just-
a tune.
He'll
The
follow
clicking-
up with the rest then.
By the way, the clicking sound, incidentally, since no one asked about this, was continuing and it was coming from the direction of the corpse.
Nope.
It's like
The
nope,
one's we
door
had never
closed.
clicked.
Nope,
Hard pass.
nope.
Oh, door closed. Walk
It was
away.
very quiet.
Is there a plank and some nails nearby?
You still got a bomb.
I
Actually,
mean,
forget that. No, forget that. that was a dumb idea. Sorry.
we need to save that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in the vicinity of all these rickety pillars.
Hey, I'm just glad the only lawful good character has the bomb.
Okay, so you come over to this room, and if you look down the corridor, you can see there is a little bit of maybe another 20 feet down, and then it opens up into a larger room.
Right. I'm gonna stealthily make my way down.
Okay, let me have you make a stealth check as you do that, Brian. Please.
I'm saying exactly right.
I'm going to wait while they sneak, I think.
Waves, are you being stealthy as well?
Nope.
I see. Okay, I can try. I mean, why not? I don't think I've ever made. There was one time in our last 5 years that I made a successful stealth check. Maybe I get a second one today.
I think Celtic was actually impressed when that happened.
Yes, very much so. But I'm now a dexterity character, so maybe.
It doesn't matter because I've just made a massive noise, so you're going to be
Still
discovered.
There we go.
Well, I like the idea that Waves is like, very like, quietly, and then Brian's like, all right, Waves, just a moment. Like bang, like into this thing, like echoes down the hallway alarmingly.
Brian's just sharpening her scimitars.
I'm sharpening my scimitars, but also
Shing.
Waves has got the hooded lamp in front of them, and I don't have dark vision, so I've just tripped over my own saber and like.
And kind of bump into Waves on the way.
Mm-hmm.
I look over my shoulder at Brian a little bit quizzically, and then
Sorry.
And then I continue moving forward.
So this room, from what you can tell, there are bunk beds and trunks that are set against over here, against the eastern walls of this room. Fairly decent size, about 45 feet wide, roughly 20 feet north to south. And the ceiling is 20 feet high. But as you look up at the ceiling, Waves, you can see that it is thick with webbing that is stretching from floor to ceiling. And hanging in the webs are several bodies hanging motionless in partially spun cocoons. But you see nothing moving, just what I've described.
Okay. I turn back, look at Brian I mean, I don't really make faces, so and trying to make I point at the ceiling and make insect noises, and
which echo alarmingly through the hall.
Don't do that. That's the mating call.
And
yeah, we need to be super careful down here. Do not touch any of those threads. The spiders will know we're here.
And a rapping motion, and then I point towards the people back there, trying to make you understand we need to warn them.
Okay, I'm kind of just going to back my way down the corridor and just say, there seem to be quite a few arachnids that have frequented that room. Large ones by the looks of it. There are some bodies, maybe dead, maybe captured. Either way.
Waves is miming crazily behind you,
Either way,
I'm trying to put a real good PR spin on this, and Waves is just like, they are dead. They are dead.
No, it's like the demented, the terrible ASL sign language interpretation, but Waves' version is just like horrified all the time.
I don't know that is this the way forward? If we're going this way, we have to be so careful.
Waves make motions of burn it all down, with holding her lantern and moving fire.
I don't know if the tunnel can withstand fire. Looking at Morthwell.
Hey, you got just as good a chance of suffocating the lot of us as you have killing the spiders. I read this book about a place called Kood, where some guy set fire to a cave and it evaporated a puddle, and he got steamed to death.
Yeah. Waves has heard that story as well. She's even seen a picture book about it. Okay. So Waves takes out a torch and looks at the group, just wanting to offer this option again.
Well, we've only got two choices. We've got back through the docks or through the spiders.
Waves turns towards the spiders.
Wish I could say this is the first time I've been in this situation.
You would really rather the spiders than the water.
I mean, you remember what came out of the water, right?
Oh, we did kill it.
I make a motion of being clammed and thrown around and dunked into the water. It's a little longer miming, but I'm doing it.
I mean, I don't really understand how the wildlife works and stuff, but doesn't that mean we own that territory now?
I don't know if that's how it works.
I mean, it's looking at Oceanus. I think two of us would be most comfortable there, and we have already got rid of a large threat there.
I didn't see anything on my way up except for the corpse that came right down. I think the water's safer, though most of you can't breathe. It makes it a little trickier.
Hey. Well, we've got, and I look at the map that we've sketched. Well, we've got this area here where the ducks were continuing around.
Yeah, but let's not forget, one of those creatures is dead, one of them is asleep.
Well,
I'm pretty sure the giant crab alligator things, one of them died and one of them was put to sleep and fell in the water.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we better hurry up then.
I do not want to go back.
But it's only one and it's wounded. I wouldn't be more than a match for it. We're prepared this time.
How are we prepared? We're worse off than we were.
No, now it doesn't have the elements of surprise. Apart from when it pops out of the water. But we know it's coming.
Waves doesn't seem to be reassured, but we know that it's coming.
Walk over to this corridor. And I'm like, will you go stand on that dog and go bang a big cog or something like that and announce the dinner bell and we'll see how long you last fighting it. I myself am going to take my chance with the spiders. There's a moment where he's looking at everybody else like, other people are going to take their chance with the spiders, right?
Well, it wasn't suggesting we go out there and make a big song and dance, you know. Might bring the cave down. Fighting the spider might bring the cave down.
Brian's literally looking at Oceanus and Morthwell and just going, they're going for the spiders.
Which what do you want me to do? Shoot him?
Yeah.
And then
pulls out his
full
trident, puts away his crossbow,
Oh, no.
pulls out the trident. Let's kill the spider. Or let's not fight the spider. Let's sneak.
I wonder if we can dash through the room.
I've just thought of something. You know I usually use firebolt, right?
Yeah?
Firebolt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Waves lifts the torch again and like, yes.
You best be real careful with it. How's your aim?
Oh boy.
Well, we don't want to touch the
No,
way. Actually, he
no.
doesn't know what he's saying. Never mind.
No torch.
I need to sit Oceanus down and teach him like a common
Music's
phrase
building up
book.
again.
So are these webs like all the way to the floor?
They are, and in fact, it's going to be a little bit difficult to navigate them. You can navigate them, but you're going to have to move around them carefully because they are everywhere from floor to ceiling.
Okay, so
Room is webbed up pretty well.
pick a direction and then go, or throw a torch in, leave for half an hour, and then come back? What do we want to do?
How about we throw a torch in, then go explore the dock, and then come back?
Cool, sounds good to me.
That's where we buy water.
Can we
Okay,
see
I like my torch.
to the room that we can see like the exits?
So yes, you can see that there is a door, a closed door right here down to the south, and there's an open hallway here to the west. There's actually also you can't really see this, but there is a closed door as well to the north. So door and something to the west. This hallway here.
Quick question before we commit arson. How big do spiders get normally, looking at Morthwell? In mines, are we talking like hand size? Because that's the sort of size I'm thinking.
I point at the webs,
what?
at the webs and make like giant movements.
I'd assume at least some basic knowledge of giant spiders would come with mining. Yeah, so no. Big as a horse, lad.
Although it's a little odd that it occurs to you, Brian, in Waves, that you don't see any of the spiders right now. That's a little odd.
Yeah, I don't trust them.
It's because they've just eaten. They're asleep.
You think this is my first RPG? They're going to descend from the ceiling.
They might have just been eaten and feeling a bit lazy, but now they need to restock or something, you know?
I mean, that does change things a little bit. So if we were to annoy these spiders by, like, setting fire to their webs, us being near the dock might not be the safest idea, because then we'll have a bunch of angry, partially on fire spiders after us.
Potentially have some very angry on-fire spiders rushing through the unstable tunnel with the pillars on the brink of collapse, yes.
Yeah.
Even Waves realizes that makes her plan sound not as good as it could be.
And the only safe room we could hide in would be the one with the mushroom man in.
Well, there's always the little entrance area.
I was going to say, I wouldn't say that's necessarily safe. There is, if you have a look to the path opposite the statue, that takes us straight back up to the docks.
There's only a curtain, a very flammable curtain at that.
In case of fire, I don't recommend going into an enclosed space.
No, also not into this room, just in case there's any more explosives.
Also, don't set fire to the dwarf carrying the mining explosive.
Nope. So that leaves our only safe option being try and sneak through the spider's webs, or set it on fire and take our chances, or set it on fire and go hide in the room with the potentially dangerous mushroom man.
Or the docks.
Well, I'm suggesting the docks as opposed to the mushroom man. I mean, it is quite a direct route opposite the statue and then up to the docks, where, at least in the water, we'd be safe from fiery spiders.
And is there air? Like, is there an airspace, or did I have to go completely underwater to make it to the dock area?
You had to go underwater, but there were a number of places where you could swim. First of all, the docks extend further to the west, and secondly, there were a number of places where you could swim above. It's a cave, so there's definitely room above in a lot of spaces, but it would be further to the west, unless you just wanted to do it right next to the docks where the sleeping crabigator fell.
Okay, I'm just thinking oxygen depletion and fires and science teacher business. But
indeed.
Would I be correct in assuming that the spiderweb room is difficult terrain if I would try to walk through it?
Go ahead, Martha.
No, it's fine.
Yes, I mean, would be the answer to that. Yes, you don't know how sticky it is, but there's a lot of webbing there. So running across it would be not possible. You could make your way somewhat slower.
Yeah, so like half movement is what I would expect here.
Right.
So I would have to use my dash action to even get to full movement.
And you don't know how sticky it is. It could theoretically be a little even stickier than that.
Ensnare us.
Well,
I could coat myself in flour or something.
Oh, I've seen a route we've forgotten, says Morthwell, looking at the map.
Oh.
This side of the docks.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. But
if I remember rightly, it was too small for those crabby-gators to get in.
It's very true. There was a door that we didn't look at when we were fighting the crabby-gators. Should we go investigate that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, we can put a pin in setting fire to the cave.
Well, we know there's spiders in that cave somewhere at some point.
Well, we think
there
there's spiders in that cave, or there's spiders that have been eaten by crabby-gators, or spiders that have been eaten by mushroom people, or zombies.
Or maybe some kind of wet-laying frog.
People, or zombie mushroom spider people. I don't even know at this point. All I know is at some point, this entire adventure is probably going to get me killed. Again.
Well, you know, they say, stick to what you're good at.
I hate being underground. Silver just walks off.
Wave slumps a bit and also walks off.
Disappearing up the tunnel ahead of you, you just hear...
Silver looks at Waves as they're walking through. He's like, we'll set fire to it later, it's fine.
So do I understand it then that you are going up to explore in that area, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
Yeah,
There's another option we haven't explored.
I don't know at what point everyone else is going at, but Silver takes a good solid couple of seconds to walk past this curtain because he's staring quite intently at this part of the water. Just to make sure there's nothing coming out. And if there's not, presumably, then he'll move forward.
And I'll reveal a little more since you're looking into the water.
Abyss.
Yeah, the watcher in the water, that type of stuff. Right, that type of stuff. Okay. All right. So, okay, nothing does come out of the water, although it does bubble rather alarmingly, Silvo, as you look at it here and there.
Sense coming up.
And when you come to the door, you said you were listening to it, I believe, this northern door.
I'd like to have a listen as well.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception checks for me if you are listening to it, please.
Not me.
What waves between me and the danger?
Oh, my rolling has been appalling today.
I'm
11.
stealing them all.
You don't hear anything but waves.
Oh.
You do actually hear the sound of what sounds like kind of a shuffling sound, basically. Something shuffling around inside the room. And occasionally you hear a clicking, although not the same kind of clicking that you heard from the other mushroom room.
Okay, Waves tips Wall on the shoulder and then makes like shuffling motions with her feet and clicks and shuffles and clicks and shuffles and points towards the door.
Okay. Doesn't really mean much to Mortwell, unfortunately. It's just, yes, there sounds.
Okay, thank you.
Does she need the toilet? Like, I'm not sure how to really communicate with Waves.
She understands
Waves
words,
look at you.
Are you in danger? Are you trying to clean your shoes?
Okay, I point towards the door. I point towards the head where an ear would be if I had one. and then I make the shuffling noise then I point toward my feet and make the shuffling noise again with it.
Thank you for the raid, Milky Jefferson. I appreciate it.
I think Waves means that there's a shuffling noise behind the door.
Okay.
Morthwell, I'm not sure.
Well, guess we'll open it up and find out.
Okay.
Morthwell looks at Waves, who is blocking the narrow passage to the door.
I'm not blocking the passage to the door.
Sorry, Brian.
No, Brian.
I am blocking the passage to the door. I'm going to kind of scooch past so that I can defend without kind of being in the way.
Okay.
All right. I will check it for traps. And I've been eaten by Brian.
Okay, go ahead and check that for traps as you suggest.
Okay. Well, let me add my guidance.
Finally, Morthwell proves to be mortal.
For now.
Yeah.
Okay.
17?
I don't know, 17's still a pretty damn good score.
Yeah, the door is sort of swollen again with water, but not so much that you can't open it. It is going to make a bit of a noise when you open it, but it does not appear to be trapped. It's not like bulging like it's going to come out, and attack you from what you can tell.
Okay. Oh, Morthwell will brace and give the door a pull.
Okay. So you have to yank on it a bit. But once you've done so, and you've been able to yank on it, the following is revealed. So you can see from your vantage point, and this too, you can see from your vantage point that there appears to be, although you can't quite make it out, there appear to be a couple of dead bodies on the ground. Again, looking similar to the ones you encountered before. These ones look like this over here. So very similar to that. So not miners, but something else. Very Oh, well, one-shot D&D because 3 of your usual campaign party are sick. Oh, man, Milky. Well, welcome. Thank you for stopping by and joining us here. I'm glad you had a good session despite that. So, yeah, in here you can see a couple of these ones are lying on the ground, again, motionless, just staring up at the ceiling. You need to get closer to see anything else. There is what looks like a kind of natural cavern passageway over here, which seems to maybe descend further. And then you can't quite make out stuff over here. There is also a closed door to the west here.
I see a couple more of those dead fellas like that back on the dock.
I make the shuffling movement with my feet again and look at you, ask questioningly.
I'm going to try and listen, see if I hear it. Oh, no. Well, yeah, see if I hear it first. It might have gone quiet. It
Sure.
might be
Perception check.
coming towards the door.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, not one of my strongest suits.
Finally, the wages of your rolls have come to pass. No
guidance spur of the moment.
You do not hear it. I mean, it's kind of overwhelmed by the sound of the water next to you, the dripping water that you're on this little bridge that extends over, right? So you don't hear anything coming from the room.
I don't hear it. Not hearing anything except the drip. Morthal's going to take a step in.
Narrow my eyes suspiciously.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm following Morthwell. I'm heading towards the room.
Okay.
I'll come up to here and peer around the corner in that direction.
Okay.
I'm
When
going to keep one of the fighters between me and the danger.
What if the danger comes from behind?
you peer around the corner, Morthwill, something comes flying towards your face. And I want to see whether or not it's going to have an impact on you. Let's see.
It's a
Facehugger! Spider!
That is
Dead
a
people.
16. Does a 16 hit you by chance?
It does not.
Okay. You narrowly duck out of the way as a web of some kind, a sticky gray web, hits the wall next to you. And suddenly emerging from the darkness is this creature. Now, I'm going to see if I can show everyone a picture of this more largely. Let's see if I can.
You do hear Morthal ducks back and you just hear, oh, bollocks.
Yep. Let me see. I think I do have, so...
God, Sisu, the Spider-Man is here. We're saved.
Yeah, let me show you what it actually looks like. So the chat can enjoy it too in all of its glory. Okay. Let's see. Hang on just a second.
Silver starts a rousing rendition of Kill It With Fire.
Spider-Man.
Kill it with fire.
Here we go, chat. I hope everyone is content warninged and all set. That is what you see. Now I will give Morthwill and I think Brian are the two that could see this. Morthwill and Brian, I'll give you both a chance to make a nature check for me, please.
That's not how spiders work.
Okay.
This is how I look when I get out of the shower in the
Oh,
morning.
my rolls have been
17.
rubbish.
Just so we're
17.
all aware, this is not how spiders work.
Brian, you have no idea what the hell this is, but Morthwill, you sure do. You know that this creature is a strange amalgam of spider and humanoid. It is known as an ettercap, and I would like some initiative, please.
Hold it. As soon as I saw it was humanoid, but it shot a web. Initiative. Oh, right, hang on. We have to click on our token first, don't we?
Yes, indeed. Let's fire up the... Is it this one, I think?
I'm waiting this time.
Okay.
Well, I clicked my token.
I have to take a quick bio break before the fight. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to do the same. Just safety way.
Ettercap, won't you stop? Stop your spinning and look for me. Okay.
Oceana.
I'm trying to remember when I last encountered ettercaps. Might be when I was playing Baldur's Gate 1.
I was just about to say Baldur's Gate.
But bear in mind, for me, that was like last year. when I
yeah,
finally
that's
got round to playing it.
God, when was the last time I played Baldur's Gate 1?
Okay, so we're looking at that. All right. So.
Oh my god, it's been so long.
And it is a medium creature type size?
It is
or
a
is
medium. It is medium,
okay.
yes. Yes, it is. Let's see. So. Oh, thank you very, very much. My dinner has arrived. I see fresh
Ooh.
Ettercap here. No.
Fresh Ettercap.
All right. It is
Do
not.
they have
fresh
fingers or do they just have claws?
Okay. All right.
It looks like it has claws.
It looks like it has claws, not fingers.
All right. I just realized that I accidentally was showing statistics on screen, but fortunately, you already identified it as an Ettercap. I was too busy being excited that the chat got to see these things.
Just saw Flares' crit initiative.
Yep.
Go Oceanus!
Of all the times to get a crit. Okay.
Yeah, wow, nice. Okay, so Oceanus has got a big old 21.
Now, about this corridor situation that you're at the back
I can
of.
squeeze through, right? Maybe just go like.
Yes,
We
indeed.
just do a
Okay,
synchronized
Brian with a
dance.
19. Well, you all rolled pretty solid initiatives here, actually. I mean,
Rare one for me. Like, usually my initiative rolls are always the worst when we're doing tabletop.
Yeah, I mean, like, you do not have the bull out yet, right? So I'm going to put this
No, the
down.
bull's not part of this. I'll move him over to the collapsed mining tunnel out the way.
Okay. So, and then Waves has got a 17. Okay. So, let's see. We've got Oceanus there. And then it looks like we've got Brian is also Johnny on the spot. And we've got that. We've got Silvo there. Okay. Right. Okay. That brings us up to the top of the round, which we will start with Oceanus. So Oceanus, you see, well, actually, I don't actually think you do see because you're behind four others. You just hear, you probably just hear Morthwill having said bollocks a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago. So you have heard that. But otherwise, you do hear this kind of horrid clicking sound coming from the north, the room that Morthwill is looking into.
All right. Pardon me. So I believe I still had my trident out.
Yes.
And so
you can make your way through, but you're going to have to make your way through. Let me see, 5, 10, 15, 20. I think you can probably make your way through 5, 10, 15, 20. Attack, 25, 30. I think you can probably move to try to get a hit in because you can basically do this among your party and then come back here. So, like, stand next to Waves here after having made your attack. But I can tell you that ranged characters, you are not going to have there's no way you're going to be able to get a shot over all of your compatriots in a 5-foot wide corridor. So you can sneak through because your party will let you squeeze through to get your attack in.
Synchronized dance.
But then you have to end up back. You'd have to end up back here. Or I guess, Oceanus, you could continue on into the room.
That
you
way?
could do that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what he'll do. So, tap young Silvo on the shoulder and say in Elvish duty calls and start the awkward squeeze down.
Okay.
To the other side of the Ettercap.
Ettercap.
Ettercap. The man spider.
And there we go. You get to see another dead body down there, by the way. There's still a part of the corner that's obscured, but you can see another dead body just as you're sneaking over to that side. Okay, so go ahead and make your attack on this Ettercap.
All right. Let's see. Ooh.
Wow. 22 will absolutely hit.
Fantastic.
All right.
So grab him with two hands, coming down with a 9 piercing.
9 piercing, very nice. The creature clicks horribly as you strike it in one of its eyes. It's multiple eyes, and like this terrible clicking sound as it turns its baleful glance upon you, Oceanus. Okay, so you moved, you attacked. That is it for you for the moment. Brian, you're up next. You're right behind Morthwill. You can just look over his shoulder and see this horrible thing. And you have not encountered an Ettercap before, I doubt very much, unless you have some backstory reason as to why. But you would not encounter these most of the time in the undersea or any of the sort of naval environment.
It's I'm going to hypothesize that I've never encountered these before. Okay, I've got my scimitars out, so I've got 2 strikes. I'm gonna go. I'm assuming I can reach with my scimitars without putting Morthwell in danger.
Yes, but you're gonna have to sort of. You can essentially you can switch positions if Morthwell's willing to do that, and just sort of slide out of the way without provoking an attack of opportunity. I think you could probably also get here without getting out of the way of anything. You could probably do that if you wanted to get, like, you can't go all the way behind him, but you could probably at least get to here, I would say, Brian, if you wanted to do that instead.
I'm gonna do that because I've been rolling terribly, and then I'm gonna fumble and hit Morthwell otherwise.
Morthwell's fine with you shuffling him as you need to. Coming through, are you?
Scooching past.
Excuse me, for me.
Pardon me. Okay. Go ahead and make your attack then, assuming that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm going to do my not +1 scimitar first.
Okay.
Which is just 21 hit.
21 will hit, sure.
With 5 slashing damage.
Okay. Got it.
And
Cuts into this green ichor, bubbles out of its wounds.
And does 16 hit?
16 will also hit. And that's 10 more damage, huh?
10 damage.
Wow. So that is some serious slashing work. Nice work, Brian. The creature, again, clicks horribly. And again, you can see a couple of its eyes have been burst. And there's this kind of this disgusting green ichor bubbling out. Okay, good stuff. That's going to lead us to Waves is up next. Waves, you now get to, you're like, you can sort of see over Morthwell's shoulder and be like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel completely betrayed by the world. Because avoiding spiders led us to the spotter creature.
Every time you try to get out, they pull you back in. Yeah.
Is there still space for me to attack the spotter creature, or could I change places with Morthwell if he's willing?
You could change places, yeah. I don't think I can let you go all the way back here on this turn, but you could change places with Morthwell if we wanted.
Okay, is Morthwell willing, like, if he would feel like
He's starting to grumble a bit.
All these people keep passing by Morthwell. Excuse me.
Hey, I'm trying to concentrate here.
Oh, man.
Well, if Morthwell is not moving, Waves doesn't have the strength to move him forcibly.
No.
So...
If you're going to go past, he'll let you past. He's definitely grumbling.
Okay, then we're going to exchange places now.
Okay.
All right, so Morthwell, yep, there you go. Perfect. All right. You stand in front of this foul beast.
Actually works out a little better for me now.
And if I had teeth, I would grit them, but I'll just try to rapier the thing now.
Okay. Grit your beak, as it were.
Yes. Boop. Oh, wait, it asked me again about it.
Picking up the speaker sound, so every time you go, it's like this dramatic sound.
Oh, that's where it's coming from.
Yeah. That will hit, yes.
And in that case, I'm gonna expend one of my spell slots and put a Divine Smite behind it.
Oh, nice.
Behind the hit. That, what it does the following. I do extra 2d8 damage.
Okay.
And... Yeah, that's exactly what it does. Unless this is... If it's undead, it would do more, but...
It is not
does
undead.
look undead. Look, no. Spider not undead. So
fair enough.
3d8 plus 5.
Okay. 3d8 plus 5.
If should be 17 damage.
17, okay. It looks quite hurt now with the beating that you've all put on it this turn. Very hurt, but still standing. And angrily clicks in your direction, its claws swaying back and forth. Okay, and Waves, you've done your movement and back up there. You could, I guess, try... Well, you wouldn't be able to disengage 5 feet, so you'd have to move and attack, incur an attack of opportunity, so I assume you don't want to do that.
I don't want to get bitten by the spotter.
I would imagine not. So that leads us to Silvo is up next. Fortunately for all of you, these creatures did not roll great on initiative.
So Silver has no idea what's going on because he's basically around the corner, but he hears a lot of scuffling in combat and excuse me coming through,
and squishing, yes, exactly, and squishing and clicking.
Excuse me, and then
my foot
coming through. Yeah, lots of Morthwell grumbling. So he just sort of comes around here. He looks over Morthwheel round waves. He's just sort of like, oh, what is that? And with that, he's going to cast Mind Sliver.
Ooh, tell us more about what Mind Sliver does.
So it is a cantrip. You drive a disorientating spike of psychic energy into the mind of one creature you can see within range. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or take 1d6 psychic damage and subtract 1d4 from the next saving throw it makes before the end of your next turn. Basically, because he hasn't got any actual weapons on him and he's not very good physically manifesting his magic, I'm going for stuff that would happen in reaction to what is happening around. So something horrible is attacking his friends. He sees it. The shock sort of like sparks his magic to sort of go, kill that thing.
Okay. What's the DC I'm looking for this saving
14.
throw? Okay. And you said if it makes it, what happens? Anything?
The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or take 1d6 psychic damage and subtract 1d4 from its next saving throw. That's it.
Okay.
If you pass it, misses.
It did
Nothing
make it.
happens.
So this thing kind of puts a claw up around its head. Its awful, horrific head, and then like clicks very angrily at you. And
yeah, Silver's none the wiser. He does not know he did this.
Yeah. So he's kind of clicking angrily at whatever it is that just happened. So did in fact make the save.
Cool.
Silva, you could stay where you are or move back if you wish. Or I guess run up, past your friends. And
He's sort of morbidly curious about what this thing is.
Okay.
So like there's enough people in between him and the danger where he's like, oh, what is that thing? What is that thing? Like, I don't want it near me, but I kind of want to look at it,
Gotcha. In that case, we'll have you stay where you are. And Morthwheel, did I mention that they rolled poorly for initiative? Because they did.
Yeah.
Well, also, Morthwheel's 15 initiative as your lowest one is a pretty damn good initiative round for all of you. So, okay, Morthwheel, you are up. You can see this creature looks quite hurt.
Yes, and Thunderwave has suddenly not become a viable option unless I really want to blast everyone across the room.
Oh, I think it depends on who you're asking. I can see it as totally viable.
Let me just dive in the water real quick.
Morthwell, only real option right now is good old-fashioned Firebolt, which is an appropriate thing to use against this horrific monstrosity.
Indeed.
Kill it with fire.
15, does that hit?
15 is going to hit, yes.
Okay.
I'll allow this because you're basically ducking around. I wouldn't have allowed Silva to do that because too many people
Okay.
in front, but just waves you can do that. So, okay.
That's 5 fire damage.
Okay. Okay. It looks like just swaying on its feet, like just, right on the edge of death. And then Oceanus yells code at it, and that takes care of the rest. So you're staying where you are, Morthwell?
Yeah.
Okay, finally, it's the turn of these creatures after having just been obliterated multiple times. So the creature clicks terribly at you in this horrible way, and then attacks you twice. First attempts to attack you with its claws, its sharp claws. And it will attack... Oh gosh, it's a target-rich environment. I think it's going to attack the one that just did tons of damage, which is waves. So that is a 17.
Oceanus.
Hit.
Will not hit, did you say? No, it was on waves. You said it would not hit?
It will not hit.
Okay.
With the shield in my hand, which I have 19.
That's right. Okay, misses. Now it tries, so you're feeling pretty good about that. Then it tries to bite you. And that is, let's see, also a 17, which we've just established does not hit you. So it attempts to do that and bite you. And there's a moment where you're kind of like, ha-ha! Just for a moment. Before, remember I mentioned this thing about this corner that you couldn't really see? A second one comes out and charges basically at Oceanus. And Oceanus, you are caught between a rock and a hard place here, by which I mean another redder cap and yourself. So this thing is going to attack you twice each with these things. At advantage, basically, is what I mean, with both claws and bite. So the first one with the claws, 12 would have been nice, but unfortunately because of advantage, that's a 22.
It hits.
Completely miss. All right. That is going to do... that is 7 points of slashing damage with its claw, Oceanus.
Okay.
And then it's going to attempt to bite you. Let's see whether it's able to do that. That is a 20, not natural, 20.
Yep, that hits as well.
All right. So, as it bites into your shoulder in a rather painful way, I would say, it is going... Oh, that's a terrible damage roll. Okay, well, that's good news. So you were going to do a grand total of... It's only going to do 3 piercing damage to you. That's the good news. The less good news is that you will also feel something surging through your veins. I need you to take a Constitution saving throw for me, please. You are going to take 2 points of poison damage regardless. Oof. That was good. Okay, so you're not going to be poisoned by the creature, but you do have poison. I mean, you took a little bit of poison damage, but nothing that's going to last. Nonetheless, this thing obviously meant business. Brian, I imagine you look at this thinking to yourself like, wow, this is really terrible. It's, there's nothing else here until skittering on the wall, on the ceiling, I should say, upside down, is another one of these things, which comes out of the hallway, and it literally falls on top of you, Brian, or at least attempts to. So, I am going to have it do these 2 attacks again. Actually, no, I take that back. First thing it's going to try to do is it's going to try to shoot you with a web. That's the first thing it's going to do. So, I am going to see whether it hits you with the webbing that it shoots at you before it falls on top of you.
Whilst you do that, I got my action surge back when we did a short rest, though, right?
That would be right, yes.
All right, just checking,
Okay.
because that's going to come in handy.
It's going to miss with its web, so you're not webbed, which is the good news. The bad news is it now lands on you. And is going to try to attack you. Now, you are not in the moment flanked because of the position of everything. So it's just going to be attacking normally. First with its claws. That's a horrible roll. That is an 8, which I assume misses.
Yes, that misses.
Okay, second one is a 15 with its bite.
That misses as well. My AC is 16.
Not a good round for the Ettercaps. Okay. All right. And you'll be happy to know there are no other Ettercaps that appear, at least not at the moment. That brings us to the top of the round with Oceanus. Oceanus, you have now got an Ettercap-rich environment, and you've got one behind you and in front of you. The one you were fighting is very nearly dead. The one behind you is fresh.
Yeah, definitely going to be attacking the one that's looking not so healthy.
Okay.
So, grabbing that trident, taking that swing. 13?
That's a miss. Sorry. Pretty close. You just ducks out of the way.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I'm not gonna run away because as much as it hurts to get advantage against, I feel like the attack of opportunity could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
So just gonna stay right there.
Okay. Yeah, and I agree. It would not be a good spot for movement at the moment. Brian, you have got a lot of... so you've got basically one creature behind you. You basically got them at all 3 triangle points, essentially, north, west, and east. Again, the one that's almost dead is the one to the southwest of you. The other one behind you and the one next to Oceanus is fresh. The fresh one next to Oceanus is fresh.
Okay. I would like to... can I do my... shape water cantrip on the one that's behind me and turn the surface moisture on the floor into ice?
I wouldn't say that there's a little bit of dripping, but there's not enough moisture here to do that unless it says you can always do this. But this is, it's a little damp, but not enough to freeze it, I think. I mean,
okay.
In a way that would make a difference. Yeah.
I thought
down where you were, there was. Like where you just came from, there was a lot of that. And maybe down below as the cavern descends, like if you go up this way, you might find more moisture. Where you are here, there's a little bit, but not enough, I would think, to freeze it in this room.
Okay, in which case I want to use my not +1 scimitar on the one that's quite injured. This one.
Okay.
And that will be. Does 13 hit?
That's a miss, unfortunately. Close, but a miss.
Okay.
Just misses.
In which case, I'm going to go for that one again with my +1 scimitar. Again, 13.
Oh, no. Same thing. Like it barely, like both times, just slightly rebounds off the wall, like very close.
Unfortunately, I'm going to use my action surge.
Okay.
And then I get those 2 attacks back again. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to be able to do your attack. Your attack action is the 2 attacks. So yes.
Yeah. So 24. Does that
hits
hit?
for sure. Yes.
That's
Okay. So that's on this one again. So 7 slashing damage.
So now, because the attack action, that clearly kills it. Because the attack action is 1 attack action means 2 attacks. It's assuming on the same creature, so you can't just like whirl and then like immediately attack something else because you have 1 attack action for 2. So you would have gotten a second attack if you hadn't already killed it. But probably worth it since you did in fact kill off something with that. And you could theoretically move. You could disengage 5 feet actually anywhere around you theoretically. So you could do that without taking attacks of opportunity, or you could stay where you are.
I would like to move here just so that I haven't got my back to either of the spooders, if
That
that's
makes
okay.
sense. Yep. So you can do that. That's a disengage. That's fine. Yep.
And then in my turn.
And that's good stuff. Okay, Waves, you are up. There's a little bit more room now, and 2 more of these creatures. One on the ground fighting.
Yep. Waves is not as technically smart, so she's just gonna run in there.
Okay.
And attack the creature that is next to Oceanus.
Okay.
So the bottom one.
Right,
because the other one hangs from the ceiling and it's like really irritating. And
well,
so
it did fall though. Remember, it
okay.
fell to the ground.
Because the token is upside down. You cannot see it on stream right now, but it's upside down.
It
and
is.
really,
I know
really
because I wanted to position it that way, but it's technically there. You go. Now it's back to normal. Yes.
Yeah, but I love that detail. Just wanted to say that's very much appreciated. Okay. So let's do the attack with the rapier. Wait a minute. The problem with the windows. 12
12 is
doesn't
not
hit.
going to hit. I'm afraid. Nope.
Oh well, then that's that. Still, I'm here. I'm helping. Next turn, maybe.
I'm here. I'm helping. Silvo, you were up next. Last time we heard from you, you were trying to mind sliver something.
Yes, absolutely. Can I see this one from where I am? This one that was.
Yeah, because you're looking over Morthwill's shoulder. So yes, I would say you can.
Okay, similar story. He's going to see this one. So this one's just dropped down, right?
Yes, just dropped.
Okay,
down
so
to the ground.
just dropped down, and there's going to be like a gasp from Silvo, and I'm going to mind sliver again.
Okay.
Because it's one of the few things I can do that is kind of invisible and fits with the theme. So I'm going to do that again.
Rolls identically the last time you did this. So once again is not
So
affected
nothing.
by it.
Excellent.
Same exact roll too.
No,
Unfortunately.
you're supposed to roll differently.
Yeah, I know. My apologies. I have been in the meantime while you've all been like beating the hell out of that one hitter cap. No dice, I'm afraid. Are you staying where you are, Silva?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. So that's going to lead us to Morthwill is up next.
Would I be able to get a shot off from here on that one?
Not
Since
with
I
the
No.
because
What about if I was?
you've got 2 creatures in front that are fighting it. I would say, yeah, I'd say you probably could if you come up there. You probably can. You just kind of like shooting between the legs of waves or something like that. I think you could do that.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll focus on this one because I saw that one drop on Brine,
Yeah.
so that's got my attention at the moment.
Yep.
So he's going to get firebolted.
Okay,
Will a 22 do it?
hit for sure.
Well, then,
I see.
it's been waiting for this moment the whole night.
Psst. So
Just a whisker with a little bit of flame at the end. you
he's
know, like
slightly
a-
warmed by your attack.
But since it's a fire-based creature, I mean a spider-based creature, it actually takes 4 times damage.
Right, it's just which leads it to 4 points of damage, even if that were true. No, no. In fact, it is not. I mean, it's affected by it, but not any more than would be the case normally. But it takes it, and you have definitely attracted its attention.
All right, well, that's going to be it for me, I think. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So, let's see. It is their turn. On the one that you've all been attacking, this one I think is going to try to attack waves. Not flanked or anything at the moment, so just is going to be attacking normally. First with the claws. Ooh, and that is a 23, so I assume that hits you.
That hits.
Okay, and that is
I'm
7
sorry.
point-
Is
yeah.
that the one above or the one to the bottom?
That is this one right here.
Okay, never mind.
That's this one right here, which is above.
Okay.
Yeah, yours is coming in a second, actually. Oceana is the one that's
Oh,
attacking you.
great.
So 7 points of damage, slashing damage waves, as it slashes you and then prepares to attempt to bite you. And I think is going to miss terribly with an 11.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
that
just-
does not work.
I'm just like, eek!
Bob and weave, bob and weave. Okay. The aforementioned one down below is going to attempt to web you again, Oceanus. And that, I think, is going to work this time with a 23.
That definitely webs me up. Yep.
Okay. So that means that you are currently restrained. I'm going to put a little note on your token to indicate that. You are restrained like that. Okay. And then, having done that, it does you the indignity of following up with claws and bites. So, let's see. And actually, let me just double check quickly on something. Because I think with that, I believe that means it's going to be getting right speed. Yeah, but that's what I thought. Attack rolls against the
Advantage,
creature
huh?
have advantage. Yep. So that's what I was making sure of. So it has advantage against you because you are currently restrained. So on its first attack with claws, it rolls 2 6s, literally the same roll each time. So somehow misses you, which is pretty astonishing work. Nice work from the Ettercap. And then with the bite, has a 16.
Oh, that's my armor class. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. It is going to do... Oh! Good grief. 10 points of damage. It's been hitting like a truck. And I need from you a Constitution saving throw again. You've
How
heard
much
this
more can you
before.
do to me? I'm already restrained. Oh, shoot.
They are
Oh, no.
stacking the
Plus
damage.
5. Plus 5.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good. So you're only going to take 1 additional point of poison damage, but you are not poisoned again. I mean, beyond the poison damage that you take, but you're not permanently poisoned. Okay. So much better round for them that round. The Ettercaps feeling good about themselves. High click each other from a distance. I'm just kidding. They don't do any of that. And that's going to lead us at the top of the round with you. Now, Oceanus, I will note that you can attempt to get out of this webbing. You can, as an action, make a strength check to try to escape from it. Or you can try to destroy the webbing. So you can attack the webbing around you. You can try to rip your way out of the webbing Hulk style. Or you could theoretically attack because you're right next to the creature. So even though they have advantage, you could you have 0 speed, but it's right next to you. So yeah.
But I do get disadvantage looking at the rule.
Right.
So.
That's right. You have disadvantage on attacks while restrained. Yes.
Okay.
So it depends on what you want to do. So you got muted, I think.
Sorry.
Okay.
I forgot I was right after them, and I thought that was just general knowledge.
No,
that
this
you were
was
giving me.
You're up.
It's my turn. Okay. I think the best thing for me to try and do right now is release myself.
Okay.
So a strength check, you said?
You could either strength check or you could attack the webbing. One of the two.
Okay. Is there a risk of me cutting myself if I attack the webbing? Would you
No,
say? Or is
although
it-
I will
okay.
say that it's vulnerable to fire, but there is a risk, of course, of you being burned if you burn the web that is around you and on fire. but it's an option.
Using my rippling sea elf-like muscles, I'm going to try and rip open. I'm going to take one try at this.
Okay.
Rip open the webbing with a strength roll.
You can do it.
15?
15 will do it. Yeah.
Yes.
You Hulk Hogan your way out of it. You are no longer restrained. Now that unfortunately is an action, but if you have a bonus action or you still have your move action, you could disengage if you wish, or that's up to you.
I am going to, in an attempt to be a little more helpful and make more room, I am going to put myself at risk by moving in between the two of them.
Okay. But you don't get attacked like of an opportunity there because you didn't move out of the way of the threat zone, so that's fine. So you're now in there. You can see that Oceanus has taken quite a few hits there. And Brian, you were up next with waves on deck. 2 left. Neither one of them hit very much. One of them slightly singed by Morthwill last turn. Browned, if you will. Slightly simmered,
Just searing the flavor.
Yeah. It's like creme brulee. It's like Ettercap brulee.
It's that slight, like, smoky, like, piquant in the air.
Yeah, a little bit of barbecue sauce, just a touch.
Yeah. Did you say it was me next?
It is you. And then Waves is on deck. So Brian is up next, though.
Excellent. I'm going to go full scimitar windmill on this one to the north.
Got it.
And first attack, 24.
Also, hi, Prince Justin. And yes, that will hit.
I also have on attacks 19 is a 20, so
that's a crit then. If that was a 19, yeah. So yes, improve critical. That means you're going to do maximum damage. So whatever your max damage would be with your scimitar plus your strength bonus, that's what you're going to do.
Max damage is 1d6 plus 3, so 9.
9, okay. You slash the hell out of it. It does not like it.
And then the other attack is 12.
That is not, unfortunately, going to hit. But that first one,
shame.
It was good stuff. Are you moving anywhere, Brian?
I'm going to... If I move into the square to the east of Morthwill, am I going to impede any attacks that Morthwill does? Actually, no. I'm going to stay still because otherwise I can't attack the one at the top. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm staying where I am.
Okay. In that case, Waves is up next. Silvo, you were on deck. Waves, what'd you like to do? This one to the north of you has been hit now.
Okay, and the other one seemed to be very dexterous because it avoided my attack last time.
Clearly.
So I'll go. Yeah, that's the only explanation. I'll go to the for the north one now.
Okay.
I just need to. Okay, we need to move this window. This is just annoying. 17.
17 will hit. Yes.
Okay, that gives me 1d8 plus 7.
Just had to hit the right Ettercap. That's all it was.
Yeah, that's the other 8. Wait, now I lost my track of 1d8 plus 7. Yes, that is correct, because dueling, I'm only using one weapon. This is fine. 1d8 plus 7, come on. 13.
13 points of damage. Nice. Okay, you strike it very solidly. Starting to look fairly hurt. Not dead, but fairly hurt. Now having stabbed it.
Cool.
Good stuff. Are you staying where you are, Waves?
Yes, I'm looking at the map and I say yes.
Not a whole lot of room to maneuver. Kind of close quarters. Silvo, that means you are up next. Morthwill is on deck. There's a nice open spot right there for you, Silvo. You can just,
there is,
go right up there.
There? What, you mean just here?
Yeah, you just go right in. It'll all be nice and neat,
No, I'm good, thanks. I'm going to move here next to Morthwill. I'm not. I'm probably going to move here. And I'm going to make a ranged spell attack against this one.
Okay.
I'm going to see if this works.
Give me a second, though. Wait, whoa. Sorry. Hold up.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. The thing is, if you're going to make a ranged spell attack, you can't do it from where you are. You have 3 people in front of you between you and the person you're there. So I allowed you to do it if you were just behind one row of people, but that means you would have to literally come to the spot that, quite honestly, I totally understandably why you don't want to be there.
Ranged spell attack, then so it's not just like you make a saving throw or something like that. If it's an actual ranged spell attack, I can't do it through people.
Correct. Well,
Okay.
you can depending on the circumstances in certain cases, but this is something where you're targeting and like you're shooting it basically.
Okay.
So,
no,
yeah.
that makes total sense. And thematically, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to stick with Chill Touch is a ranged spell.
Wait a second though. Wait a second. Let me look. No, I take that back. Chill Touch is different because there you're creating a ghostly skeletal hand in the space of a creature within range. So I take that back. You still need to make the ranged
Okay.
attack, but if you were doing like a firebolt like Morthwill or something like that, an ice lance.
I'm definitely not, and
Okay.
I'm glad you brought this up. Actually, I'm definitely not trying to like chuck magic because that's not what Silver's trying to do at this point. What he's trying to do is just react and have magic happen.
Yeah.
So this is.
Okay.
I'm hoping if this hits, then I'll be able to flavor text it. So he doesn't really know what's happening. This thing just happened.
It will hit. You'll be happy to know.
It will
15
hit.
will
Excellent
hit,
stuff.
yeah.
15 will hit. Cool. So thematically what happens is this spectral hand just sort of grabs the ankle of this air cap.
Or instead it's like, like
yeah.
clicks.
It's like, what is that on my foot? What is that?
Yeah.
And so I've closed the window now. It will take... I've lost it now. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 necrotic damage and can't regain hit points until the start of its next turn. So
Okay.
1d8.
All right. Let's see that.
There you go. That'll do. 6 points of necrotic damage.
Okay. Getting a lot, looking pretty hurt now. Okay. Yeah. Good stuff, Silvo. Yeah. If that was kind of a bolt spell, that'd be a different matter. But because it's
Yeah,
creating that, I think you have enough range to see it.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm glad if I do that from now on, until a certain point in time in the adventure, just call me up on that. It's like, are you sure you want to throw a magic thing?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Good stuff, Silvo. You are going to stay where you are, joking aside, and not go into this place, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Staying exactly where I am.
Morthwill, you are up. You've got one to the east of you, an open shot on him, actually. He's not been touched yet. And then you've got this one that you singed before, who now has been hit quite a bit.
Yeah, I was muted. Okay, right. I'm going to attack the damaged one still.
Okay. And see, he's
I'm
able
going
to
to-
do that, Silvo / Peripheral Mike, because he's right behind the row, so he can kind of just like reach over them and shoot at them as opposed to trying to go through 2 rows of people, basically. That was why I was thinking the bolt thing originally.
17.
17 will hit. Let's see if you pleasantly
Come
roll
on.
them again. So you get the other
I'm
side.
here.
You brown the other side of the marshmallow.
Revenge of the dice.
Really nice.
I just run around plinking everyone for 1 HP so I get an XP share out of it.
That's how I felt fighting a certain prominent Star Wars character in Jedi Survivor earlier today. It was
It's the Magikarp
joy.
of pie.
good stuff, Morthwill. Definitely help think twice
Was
before he
it?
challenges you. Are you going to stay where you are? Or are you moving over?
No, I'll stay where I am.
Okay. Well, let's start with this one who is on waves. Is going to attempt to, let's see, are they going to recharge? They will not. All right, so they are going to attack with claws and with bite. So first of all, 18 on the claws,
Nope.
and the other one is 22 with the bite.
Yes.
Oceanus is going to use his defender trait to impose disadvantage on that roll.
Ooh, very nice. Okay, let me do that one. Then it's only a 14.
That doesn't hit.
That's good stuff, Oceanus.
Thank you,
Good work.
Oceanus.
Okay, so you just kind of like do the feint. It's that part of the incredible Duel of the Fates in Phantom Menace, right, where Kenobi is like does the feint thing, and then like Kenobi jumps in. I mean, Qui-Gon hits him instead. All right, good stuff. So it does not hit you. Okay, the other one is going to move here. Eventually, when Roll20 wakes up. Okay, is going to move here, just sliding over, so it doesn't prompt an attack there, Oceanus. Going to slide over and is going to attempt to attack. Waves, this time with advantage. Now, I don't know if you can do that defender thing again. I guess you do that based on a reaction. Is that...
Yeah, sorry, I should have said using my reaction. I do
Okay, so
that.
you've already
Yeah.
used one of those this turn, so you wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to do that again. So it's going to get advantage on attacking you, Waves. This first one with claws is going to be a 17.
Nope.
Okay, now with bite. Ugh. Rolled O. Rolled a 5 and a 6. Not very good for the Ettercaps there. So that worked out super well.
You
thanks
see
to
waves
Oceanus
like
there.
dodging in and out between the scary spider thing.
Yep. Okay, top of the round. That brings us to Oceanus. You have 2 of them. This one is quite hurt. This one down below is fresh.
Well, seeing how I successfully deked out the top one, the north one, I will try and take an attack on it.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens. Oh shoot! I reloaded roll 20 and forgot to open my my sheet.
Oh,
So
it's all
one
good.
moment. Grabbing that trident.
Hey, what's up, Dragon? Sadly, that is not going to hit. I'm afraid a 9 will not get the job done.
Bad.
So,
But I get my reaction back.
You
so
do. That's true. And I assume you're staying where you are because of the
stick
value
right there.
of that. Yeah, yep.
Indeed.
That was very useful last turn. Brian, you're up. Waves is on deck. What would you like to do, Brian?
Sorry, my puppy's trying to dig through the floor at the moment.
That's
I'm
what I would
going
do if
to
I saw
attack...
Ettercaps too. I would dig through the floor. Yeah.
I think she's just trying to escape. I'm going to attack the hurt one.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Sorry, chat. I didn't realize that the picture was low.
17.
There we go. 17 will hit. Yes.
With 9 slashing damage.
Okay. Looks exceedingly hurt now, but not quite dead.
23.
Yep. That hits.
With 10 slashing damage.
Slash. Down goes Frazier. And this, you slash it to the ground. Great green blood sort of bubbling out of its wounds as it hits the ground. All right, Brian. Good stuff. And you have, again, the creature below you, but I mean, you've already gone. So you could theoretically disengage if you want and move up to this square here, or you could stay where you are.
I'm going to stay where I am so that I'm not impeded by anyone in the way if it survives another turn.
All right, that leads us to Waves with Silvo on deck. What would you like to do, Waves? This one has not been hit yet.
Yeah, but then it needs to happen. So I'll hit it with my rapier, hopefully. 18.
18 will hit. Yep. All of a sudden, everyone remembered how to roll again.
There we go. 9 damage.
9 damage. Man, Waves puts in some serious work on the damage these days. Okay, solid hit.
I took this dueling feat, and it gives me +2 on the damage, so that's like really nice.
I love the image of like, I know you got your shield, but like sort of like occasionally, and then like, have at you, like with with Waves, dodging back and forth. Okay, good stuff. That's going. Waves, do you want to move anywhere, like shift someplace here or not?
I think we all found our place next to this guy, so let's... Wait, if I moved to south of Oceanus, would it then be flanked, or is it already flanked?
It would be flanked. It's not flanked at the moment. It would be if you did that, yes.
Okay, then I move down to south of Oceanus to the flanking thing.
Makes sense. That leads us to Silvo. Silvo, you can hear this bit, like you can see it. It's like right there, like this thing.
Yep. Could I see it from here?
I would say not. You might be able to, like, the only way you could see it would be by like singeing Morthwill in the process, probably. Which
Okay. So
you could bounce a spell off Morthwill, hit it. I mean, like, I'm sure that's fine.
I'm not the biggest fan of that one. I gotta be honest. No, that I'll sort of just notice because I've been focusing on the one at the north. I'll sort of just notice that this Ecab is here now, just sort of like around the corner. And I was like, oh, and Mind Sliver.
Okay.
I will Mind Sliver. So I need it to make a intelligence saving throw, DC 14.
It does not. It has a 12. So this time you hit it. So
This time I hit it. Excellent stuff. So 3 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
And for what it's worth, minus 3 from its next saving throw.
Its next saving throw. Okay. All right.
Saving throw.
I will keep that in mind. Okay. Are you staying where you are, Silva, or are you backing up a
he
space?
sort of like, he jumped. He realized it was quite that close to him because he hadn't really realized before. He jumped and sort of like shuffled back into the wall of this square, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. That's going to lead us to Morthwill. Morthwill, you are up. This creature has been hit now. Hurt, but not horribly yet.
I'm just gonna keep up because I've got a lot of spells, but because of the areas they affect, none of them have really been useful this entire fight without hitting everyone. So
Indeed. You're actually right next to him, don't forget. So keep that in mind.
15 on the firebolt?
15 will just hit, yes.
3.
3. All right.
I knew it wasn't going to be a 1 that time because it took slightly longer to load up.
That's right. You're like, aha. It couldn't just like cache the 1 and keep doing. Right. Okay, that brings it to its turn. Man, where is he? What is he gonna? He could turn and go anywhere. Waves is behind him. Brine, Silver. I think he's probably going to attack Waves because Waves hit him for a lot before. So he's going to turn around. He is going to attempt to hit Waves. A powerful 11 on the claws. A 19 on the bite.
I have exactly 19.
That
Luckily,
will-
Oceana's taking the trident, goes for another
Yeah.
poke to try and bring that bite down. 'Cause
Okay, let's
that's
see.
Poison's dangerous.
That right. You said to impose disadvantage. Well, the other thing he got was a critical hit. So I think we're going to go with the 19 probably.
In
which
that
would have
case, yeah.
happened otherwise. Okay, that time he did not have any time apparently for your nonsense, for your awesome defending nonsense. Let's see. I'm just
You've
saying.
learned
what
my
he probably
tricks.
thought. Okay, let's see. That is 9 points of piercing damage.
Yes.
And then
Down to the 16 again.
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please, as the venom pours into your veins.
14.
That will succeed, so you're only going to take an additional 2 points of poison damage.
Okay.
All right, and that was the creature's turn. That brings us back up to Oceanus. You're all surrounding this thing now. It has been hit.
All right. So first of all, using his warrior's training and remembering, I guess his warrior's training, he's gonna use second wind as a bonus
I saw
action.
that you mentioned that. I was like, yeah, that's useful.
It's like, all right, yeah, I can do that. So that's 1d10 plus 4. So let me roll in the right roll. 1d10 plus 4. There's probably something I could have pushed to make it happen, but that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'll take
11.
that.
So that brings you back up to 18. Hale and hearty. Everything's fine.
Yep. And then using, I'm at advantage now. Yes. Is he pincered between me and Silva?
Yes, he is. Yep.
Okay, great. Then using advantage, gonna go for a couple of 2-hand strikes. See if I can't actually hit this thing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. 21.
Let's see what the other one is, just to. Okay.
Yeah. 21.
Gonna go with
Okay.
the 21. Yep, that's a hit for sure.
And darn it. 5 piercing damage.
Okay. All right. All right. You have heard it a little bit. It's starting to look a little messed up now after the number of hits it's taken. And Oceanus, you're staying where you are
That's right. Yeah.
because of that awesome defender thing. Okay, that's going to lead us to Brine, and Waves is on deck. So yes, Brine, this Ettercap is getting buffeted about.
Okie dokie. Once again, same deal. I'm going to go normal scimitar first. That 10 doesn't hit, does it?
Does not hit. Sorry to say.
Although a crit does.
Crit sure does, and you were doing an advantage because it was flanked, so that was your first attack. So that will do maximum damage. So we're looking at
1d6 plus 4, so 10. This is plus 3 slashing damage for the crit. Is that right?
well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. No, are you? So you were the scimitar is 1d6. You're saying?
The scimitar is 1d6 plus 4.
Okay. So then that would be 10 total damage. I don't know where the 13 would have been from before, but we'll take that.
I've no idea. It's an auto thing. So,
Thank you for the raids, Sandper. Thank you for that. So still very solid hit. Okay, and now you get your second attack, which you're also doing an advantage.
that was this. Those were two different things.
No,
so,
because they're at advantage. Remember. So that first, because he's flanked. So you took your first one at advantage. So that's why that counted the crit as being the one that you wanted, I assumed.
No. I've got 2 different rolls for 2 different scimitars. So the first one,
Oh, I see.
Was not the +1. So the second one was the +1.
Oh,
so
okay.
if I'm rolling at advantage,
Why don't you roll for that not one then? Yeah. Oh,
so
well.
I'm going to roll for that's the advantage for the other one. For the first one,
Oh,
again,
man.
no, that's fine.
Well.
It made no difference at all.
Okay, but still very solid hit on the other one. I mean on the with the scimitar +1 with the crit. Okay, thank you Raiders for joining us. Welcome. All right, that is going to, assuming Brian wants to stay where she is, then that's going to lead us to Waves, who will be up next with Silvo on deck.
Okay, I have nowhere to go. I'm gonna poke that one with the rapier.
Okay.
Clickety click. 20 might hit.
20 will hit.
And roll for the damage. 15.
Do you want to re-roll that?
Next up.
Do you want to re-roll that rapier as well, just in case you crit with it? Because you're at advantage.
I just did maximum damage.
Oh, so it doesn't matter anyway. Okay.
That doesn't matter.
All right. 15 points of damage. Wow. Yes, you stab it directly through the throat, just, and it sort of clicks terribly as it sinks down and expires. And as the sort of the combat stress fades and your heartbeats start to slow, you can see in this room, I want to describe this just very quickly, that you can see in the room that there is, one second, where did I put my, there we go. You can see that there's lumber that's stacked from floor to ceiling in this room, and there are 2 large workbenches set against the walls with tools and materials that have kind of been left haphazardly. There's also a door to the west and a passageway going down to the north. But more troubling to you than any of that is the 3 creatures lying on the ground, currently looking in that same form of, as I mentioned, the kind of embalmed sort of state. But if you look carefully, you can see that on the far eastern one is just the first slightest, what might be a little bit of fungal growth out of its body, and a very faint clicking sound like the one you heard in the room below. And as that faint little click echoes, we're going to bring our session to a close.
That's not ominous at all.
Not ominous in the least. And even though it feels like you didn't open up much of the map, you did open up more of it than one might think, and also have started to find out a little more about the mystery of this thing. Although this whole thing is like some kind of weird, haunted, Last of Us mind, Resident Evil. It's great. It's a bunch of stuff. If you like spiders and fungal mushroom death things, then you're in the right place. So this was good stuff, and also some very good combat work with some serious clutch defending work from Oceanus and some others around there. So I will start with the bottom of the column and work my way back up. Let me start first with Ananda. Good stuff, Ananda. I know you had a few rolls where you were frustrated with at the beginning, but you definitely made some hits, including a couple of critical hits there later on with the combat. And it was a good idea to possibly freeze things if there had been more moisture in this room. There will be other places where presumably you'll be able to do that. In the meantime, though, you have managed to, so far, your party's all doing great, except for the multiple, dead creatures on the ground with fungal growths and, ettercap spider thing stuff. So everything's fine. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I always have fun with our tabletop RPG group. It's always a blast, and every time we finish a session, I'm like, I can't wait for the next one. But yes, it's been brilliant as always. The whole clicky mushroom, people don't know quite where that's going. Sounds ominous, but being in the mines is out of Brian's comfort zone anyway. So she's feeling slightly, the walls closing in slightly anyway. But yeah, always fun. And yeah, really, really enjoyed the session. People can find me over on my own channel. I'm not putting out quite as many streams as I would like to at the moment because I've got a lot going on behind the scenes, and as well as job hunting and all that kind of malarkey. But I'm going to be continuing on with Skyrim tomorrow. And at some point, I am going to have to bring more Baldur's Gate 3 into my own channel because it's brilliant. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much. And can't wait till next time.
Good stuff, and it was good to have you back, Ananda. Always a pleasure. Also, always a pleasure to have, of course, Peripheral Mike with us, who was doing a bunch of, like, what is that? Mind Sliver type of things happening today as these things were occurring. And, you know, I think Silvo's reaction is kind of the everyman reaction of what the hell is that? Don't ever do that to me again. Get out, kill it with fire. You know, these are all appropriate reactions that I would probably have. I don't think I would be just sort of, you know, wandering through this thing. So there was a lot of that going on. But you did manage to hit it the one time with it. But otherwise, it was sort of also getting a sense of what was around there. The Duragar statue, the desk with the letters, you know, all that sort of stuff. And then, of course, these Ettercap creatures that you found. And I love the idea that everyone is trying to avoid webs and run into other places with webs, by the way, and other creatures. But, you know, I'm sure it's all fine. There's nothing that's dangerous in this mine at all. How did you feel about today's session, Mike? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I had an absolute blast with the session. I always have a blast with the D&D sessions. It's always fun, and it's especially fun to step back into the sodden, grubby boots of Silvogenis Petulus, because I really want to play him well, if that makes sense. And I think going down the route of not doing flamboyant, oh, I cast this and I cast that, because he doesn't really know how to handle it. So it's like stuff that I was doing a mechanic where I was rolling a dice to see which aggressive spell or offensive spell would be cast next, and that was working. But I then spent like 3 of my high level spell slots on like a grub, and I'm like, that's not working out quite as well as I would have hoped. I'm spending all of my good spell slots. So I think now doing the what spells don't look like magic, let's do that. That's going to be like a safety mechanism. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next one. And the whole creepy mine has turned into Last of Us clickers and zombies and God knows what creeping around every corner, which I kind of feel quite at home with because I'm just so used to playing horror games at the moment.
It's true. Layers of Fear by a mine.
I'm going to be playing a certain horror game, Layers of Fear, tomorrow, right here on the GOG.com Twitch channel. So make sure to check that out with my triumphant return to the GOG.com stream team. If you want to see me after that point, however, you can check out my channel, twitch.tv/Peripheral Mike, where my path to Twitch partner continues. And I've got streams on Friday, Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday planned. So, and we've got a very special mega stream on Saturday for lo-fi chill games. So we're going to play cozy games for about 5 or 6 hours, give or take. And I've got quite a few planned. So make sure to check that out. But otherwise, I love you all, and I will see you in the next session.
Thank you, Mike. Always a pleasure. Pleasure to have you back on the team as well in another context, too. Always a pleasure, Mike. Moving right out the line, Morthwill definitely had a number of these moments where, you know, sort of like, I'm fine in a mine. Here's how you do this with a mine. Here's how you do that with these things with a mine. But then there was stuff that clearly is outside the norm. So we were kind of like, you know, well, there's mold and fungus in mines. No, I don't remember it growing out of bodies, but you know, I mean, I'm sure it's fine. So there were other things that Morthwill kind of has to figure out, I suppose, that did not make him quite as comfortable as he might otherwise have been. But then also was able to do, I love the idea that you were just sort of like delightfully warming the marshmallow before actually doing, more damage to it. That was quite funny. When you were not, of course, absolutely crushing every check at the beginning. So like the first 2/3 was just like 20, 20, 19, 20, 20, mega 20. And all that kind of stuff. These things do tend to eventually even out. But the mystery of the mine continues. How'd you feel about today's session, and where will the fine folks find you next time?
It was a lot of fun. Listen, Hot Streak with the dice was definitely very, very fun, especially for a player like me who loves, like, clicking on all the things to see the little sentence that pops up to describe it. So I was getting a lot of that. So that was great stuff. Trying to piece together what's happening here now. I have a new theory, but I'll keep it to myself for the time being, lest I influence the shape of events in the future. But I'm working on a theory. We'll see what Morthwell makes of it. And yeah, as you say, and then towards the end it balanced out with my absolutely awful combat damage and my pocket full of really useful abilities that everybody clumped up and meant I couldn't use because they were area of effect. So I was like, right, well, I'll use Thunderwave on my turn, and someone's just pushed past me and they're in the Thunderwave area.
I love the pardon me, excuse me. I'm sorry, pardon me, excuse me.
Yeah, it's just been great. Oceanus with the really on-point defending there in the middle of that cluster. And all around great time. As for me, you won't be seeing much of me for the next few days. I might have a stream on my channel. I might not tomorrow before I go to bed. But other than that, I'm gone till next week now. I'll be at Bloodstock.
Have a great time. Kick-ass take names. Enjoy all of the musics and stuff. And I look forward to a full report on your return. Thank you, Saber. Always a pleasure. Moving on up the column. Last of the usual full crew, but not today full crew, but usual full crew is Pyron Jade, who was seriously meting out the damage. You get to see what happens when someone who specialized in this as a paladin, as a fighter with the dueling feat. Like, I love the sort of impression of what it feels like for Waves. When Waves hits for a lot, which was impressive to watch and was necessary. But Waves would have been in trouble were it not for, again, that Oceanus defense, because Waves got hit a couple of times. So that was some good work out of Fleos and the Oceanus defending work. Waves, how did you feel about today's session with the fungus people and the spiders, etc.? I also loved the frantic miming in the background while Brian is explaining it more rationally, and Waves is just like miming "Kill It with Fire." How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I love this the session, and I really enjoyed like this image in my mind that when the spider tried to bite me, that Oceana was like putting his trident between it and was like, okay,
exactly.
Stop there. And I think that was we did a really nice fluid fight this time, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say something that, about what Mike said about Sylvain changing his the tactics or his approach to magic all the time. That I found that when he was like rolling what to do, I found that really interesting, but I also find it quite a natural progression that Silver is now still trying another approach, and maybe we'll try another approach next time and the time after that. So I feel all of that really fits nicely together, and I'm really happy with everything that's going on, although I didn't like the other caps, but just for them being other caps, not for story reasons, or just like icky creature thingies.
I don't deny it.
So,
I don't like them either.
I don't know if everybody's going to see me back for our next Talisman section on the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have any plans for streams before that, unless I get invited to a multiplayer again. Might happen, might not happen. We do have a lot of cool stuff coming up on the channel. For example, next week we're going to have an interview with Weather Factory for their upcoming release of Book of Hours, which at that time will have happened the day before. And we're going to have Mike stream this week, and we're going to have... we're going to have a guest stream from a GOG staffer on Friday with Yakuza 3, I think. And so please, people, just keep checking out the schedule. We've got so many cool streams, so many cool people, and all of this. Please. Thank you.
That's good stuff. Thank you, Pyron. Always a pleasure. And last but certainly not least, Fleos, I'm glad we were able to do this a couple times during the summer. I wish, obviously, at some point when all schedules, align and you can be with us, on the regular, that'll be great. But still, it's good. We're happy to have you when we can have you. And Oceanus got a chance to be heard from, not just in the original appearance, but then obviously in that combat where Oceanus was able to do some damage, and like positionally, because you didn't all have a lot of room to maneuver, you really had to do a couple of those moments where that defender thing, even when it didn't work the one time, you were constantly being a disrupting force to the enemies who were there, and that definitely helped out a lot. and made it possible for the party to have, as was pointed out, a smooth, fluid experience. Because otherwise, waves might have at least been poisoned and could have been at risk of going down. I mean, like it would have complicated things in a way that would have been not as good. So, so that was good stuff out of Oceanus this time. How did you feel about today's session, and where will the fine folks find you next?
I had a lot of fun today, both with the combat, which is usual for me, but also just the little bit of role play that came in there. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like almost like a connection between Silvo and Oceanus, maybe, and I was just like, oh, I want to dig deeper. When can I take off work so that I can? Yeah. Like, so I don't know when it would be possible to join full time with the crew, but I always love coming and really appreciate you having that open invite for me. Because I had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see where things go next. In terms of me streaming next, I will be here on Thursday night. I'll be streaming something on promo. I haven't 100% decided. They got a few options. I want to check in, see which promos are maybe more important to GOG as to what I should be showing. But I will choose soon. So once again, keep your eye on that schedule. And on my own channel, I'll be there on Saturday playing some old Apogee games. I should be finishing off Secret Agent, which was actually my second stream on GOG.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2015.
I remember that.
that was fun. That was fun back then. And they'll probably finish that up and start up with Word Rescue, which is a great educational game, also quite old. Anyway, I'm keeping it old, very old on my channel. So yeah, that's me.
Good stuff. Thank you, Fleos. And it was great to see everybody together in the crew. I was really happy to get Saltmarsh back up and running, partly because Saltmarsh is a great combination for me DMing it, watching these wonderful players from a combat point of view, unraveling a mystery point of view, and there's also political intrigue. So that's all stuff that I love to see, and there's going to be more of it as time goes on. So, chat, can we get some love for the amazing players in D&D with GOG? Thank you again to Fleos, to Pyron Jade, to Darksaber2K, to Peripheral Mike, and to Ananda. We will see you all soon. Thank you, players. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Good
Bye.
night. Bye. Miss you. Love you. Bye.
All right. That, folks, is going to do it for us for today. And that was, as I say, a ton of fun. I really enjoyed that, and I'm glad that we were able to play again, because for a variety of schedule conflict reasons, we were not able to do that before, but now we are able to get back into it. So that was great, and I am very excited to see where things happen next as they go through this very weird mine, and get to see a little bit more of it. It has more of a dungeon crawly feel to it, but they've been doing stuff. They had a lot of extra role play elsewhere, so they'll be getting more into that. There'll be more of that to come, but right now it's been fun to kind of watch and see them do what they're doing right now. As for me, I am very happy to be back here. Other than a couple of day trips, well, there's going to be a couple of trips in the middle of the week that shouldn't affect any streams around there. My wife and I are going to be going away for our 20th wedding anniversary next week, and a few things like that. But otherwise, I'm mostly going to be here at home all the way up until October, when I'll be going up to Ottawa for CanCon, and I'll be up there over that weekend. And then we'll be back again all the way until December, when I might be going to PAX Unplugged. But otherwise, I'm going to be at home. So thank you, Prince Justin. So there'll be a lot of streams. There'll be a lot of stuff going on. I am doing a big refresh on my own channel. I'm going to be doing a subathon. I'm going to be doing some other stuff, which I'm very excited about, a whole raft of new emotes over there. So I hope you folks will stop by and check that out. I've been playing Jedi Survivor, which a lot of people have been avoiding because they want to avoid spoilers, which I totally understand. But I am almost done with Jedi Survivor, and then I'm going to be going on to some other stuff after that. So that's going to be exciting, plus a ton of tabletop roleplay. So that's going to be awesome. Yes, CanCon. And I know you're nowhere near Ottawa, I believe, Fleos, but it would be cool sometime to meet you in person. Although I can't reveal secret plans, chat, but there have been some secret plans. We'll see. In any case, it was great to see all of you lovely folks as well, and to be back here. And I am going to be here hanging out at home doing stuff for a while. So if you like what you saw and heard, please make sure to follow the channel. Please make sure to subscribe to us here on GOGCOM's Twitch channel. And please consider clicking through and checking out our Patreons and subsystems on our own channels as well. I had a feeling. Yeah, I thought that you were not that near Ottawa. I remember that. And also there was something else I was going to mention. Oh, which is that next week I'm going to be doing what might be either the last or the next to last session of Bookwalker Thief of Tales before I go into the final Solasta DLC, which is what I'm going to be doing after that on GOG in terms of video game stuff. And then, of course, the 22nd is going to be some Talisman Adventures as we move into that. So very excited for all of that and happy that all of you were able to join us. And I look forward to seeing all of you folks there. Kilgore Trout is going to be up now in, I think, about an hour and a half, something like that. Kilgore will be back with you playing something new. In fact, I don't remember what he's playing. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Terra Nova, 2.5 hours. He'll be back playing some Terra Nova Strike Force Centauri on this channel. And I'll be on my channel on Friday night playing Valorword Court of Blades. That is the WebFest nominated, Baltimore WebFest nominated, Minnesota WebFest nominated, New Jersey WebFest nominated, and Rainbow Roll winning for Best Visuals, Valorword Court of Blades. That runs on my channel, but it is part of my podcast that I co-host with Michael R. Underwood and Brandon O'Brien called Speculate. And that is, we're very excited about all those nominations. Hopefully we'll get some wins out of those too, just like we did other Rainbow Roll stuff. So if you want to see more about that tabletop campaign and you want to see me playing someone who's vaguely a little bit like a cross between Inigo and maybe, I want to say Minsk, but he's not crazy like Minsk. He's just, strong, powerful, like Bull, but also, has a sense of honor. Then you should, my character, Carevis D'Orencio, you should stop by on Friday night. So I'm excited about that. Otherwise, I will see you folks back here for more Pen and Pixels next week and more Ghosts of Saltmarsh to come next month as well. Until all of these things happen, it was lovely seeing all you folks. Thanks, everybody, and I'll catch you folks soon. Until then, everyone, please be good to each other. Bye for now.